Yo, what's going on?
Hey,
You an atheist?
yeah,
A real one?
yeah, real one.
Okay, so if there is no God, can you prove to me that it's not okay to be a bad person? Prove to me that it's a bad thing, that it's wrong to be a bad person.
Why do we need proof for it to be bad?
Well, if morals are just subjective,
Yeah, why can't morality be subjective?
I mean, but at that point, wouldn't you agree that having morals is just a subscription to the society that you live in?
Well, it's about using your brain and thinking about what's the best outcome you want for society. Um, yeah, morality can definitely be subjective. It doesn't have to be objective.
So what you basically just told me right now that if you don't be a good person, you're going to have a disadvantage in society. That doesn't make it wrong. It just makes it a disadvantage.
Yeah, we say that's wrong, right? Wrong is just what we don't want.
Yeah, so it's so really it is okay to be a bad person. It's just a disadvantage if you become one.
No, it's not okay to me to be a bad person. No.
Well, then prove how? Why wouldn't it be?
Because we don't want that. Because we don't want it. That's why. There's no proof. There's no morality isn't facts. It's just a opinion. It's just, hey, we don't want this to happen.
Yeah, so cosmically, universally, it's not wrong to be a bad person. It's just smarter to be a better one so you can get
There's
along with
no yes,
society.
yes, there's no bad or good in the universe from the universe's perspective. That's something we designed and created.
So then it's okay to be a bad person.
But that doesn't follow. No, it's not okay to be a bad person in my view.
Yeah,
I
that's
think it,
yeah, but
I
that's how
think
you
it's wrong
feel.
to be a bad person.
Is that how you feel, or is that what you know?
It's my feeling.
Yeah, see, so that's how you feel.
Yeah. What's the problem with morality being feelings?
But that's what I'm saying. So it's okay to be a bad person because I'm not obligated to hurt. I'm not
No,
obligated to feel remorse over your hurt feelings.
no, it doesn't have to be a fact, right?
Yeah,
Morality doesn't have to be facts. Okay, where do you get your moral? How do you know them? What is objectively wrong to you?
I mean, I believe in God.
Okay, so you're just taking God's opinion as to what's good or bad.
Well, He's the creator of everything.
But still his opinion. It's not facts, it's
Not
just his
opinion.
opinion. How
It's
is
not an
God's
opinion.
opinion better than my opinion?
Well, you're not God, and for one, God created everything, and you just appeared.
Okay, so if God came down and said rape is good, you would think it's good?
When did He say that?
If God came down and said murder and rape are good, would you think it's good?
No.
So then you don't get immorality from God.
So it's okay to be a bad person then.
No, I didn't say that. I don't know why you keep saying that. No, I didn't say that.
But if I'm not obligated to do it,
Look, at the end of the day, morality is just subjective. It's just how we feel and want things to be. It's not, there is no fact enshrined in the laws of physics that says you must not murder. It doesn't exist, as far as I can see. There's no
I'm
evidence
o-
of a God. There's no evidence of Jesus or Buddha, balaba, da da da. It's all nonsense as far as I can see. Do you have evidence of it?
I'm okay with that.
Do you have evidence of God?
No, but there is no way to prove that He doesn't
Okay.
exist either.
Well, I would say that the fact that there's so much suffering in the world, I would say that's evidence against a good God.
But to even have creation at all points towards a direction that there has to be a creator. I could say that as well.
Right, but evil, right? The amount of suffering in the world is evidence that God isn't there
That's not
because
really proof.
it's evidence that God's likely not there because what kind of good God would design such suffering to occur?
Yeah, but exactly. We're going back to your feelings, right? You look at what your surroundings are, your
Do you
environment.
think God prefers suffering or doesn't prefer suffering?
Why can't he have both?
Can you just answer the question? Does God desire suffering for people to suffer?
Sure, in certain cases.
Yeah, he desires it. God wants people to suffer? I think that's
Well,
crazy.
well, you're a human being, so you're gonna suffer anyways.
Yeah, that's the whole problem. The whole
Yeah,
problem is that this world is designed, integrated in the world circuitry is suffering and pain. Animals in the wild. Why does that occur if God is good?
the, that's not our. It's not up to us to decide.
It's
I
not
can't.
us to, it's not for you to decide. Okay, so if for example, we lived in a world where the Holy Spirit murdered everybody, would that be a good world, or would God still be good in that world, or would God be bad for
Well,
doing
it
that?
would. It would depend on why he would want to do that.
Okay, if God came down and started raping everybody, would God still be good?
What would be the reason for it?
What reason would there be for raping people?
No, but see, you're pivoting.
Do you think there would be a good reason for God to grape somebody?
He never done that. That's not God.
Well, he allows it in the Bible. 1 Samuel 15, he allows the graping of women. Exodus 21, Deuteronomy, Numbers 31. God allows harming and killing people.
Yeah, but that doesn't prove that he's not real.
It shows that it's not good, right?
You're
Your
just
God is not good.
you're just telling me that he's a bad God.
Well, yeah, if you think God is good and I show you that it's bad, it's not there. That means it's fake.
But that doesn't prove that he's not here. God is supposed to be imaginary,
Okay, sure,
remember?
God could be real, but God is evil.
Doesn't mean that he doesn't exist.
Okay, so you think God is evil.
From the way how we may perceive it could be evil.
Okay, so you think God is bad and wrong. Okay, so why do you follow it?
I never said that.
The point is that you don't know what's good or wrong. You're just following whatever God says. How do you know it's good? How do you know it's wrong?
Because of our morals.
How do you know those are true? How do you know that those are correct?
That's my question to you.
The answer to me, my answer is I don't have correct morals.
So that it's okay to be a bad person.
No, that doesn't follow.
I don't have to
Just
subscribe to
because
what
morality
you
is subjective doesn't make it okay to do whatever you want. No, I think you should not be able to do what you want.
who says the judge, the law, the cops,
We do. I say it.
because it causes harm.
Right, because yes, exactly.
Because I'm gonna hurt your
You make,
feelings.
you're making the very difficult claim
I'm not.
that morality is objectively factual. I think that's a very, very difficult thing to support.
How is it how? I don't get you're not telling me how.
Because you don't. How do you know that it's objectively wrong to murder?
If it's subjectively wrong, then it's only a subscription at that point.
How do you know it's objectively wrong? How do you know for a fact that murder is wrong?
Well, I don't want to go down this whole road with you. With I could be a hitman and I could be paid to do it. Support my family in the middle of doing this. They don't think it's wrong, and if they do, it's
That
not.
wouldn't be
It's
murder,
not
right?
what
Look,
murder. If I'm a hitman,
look, you're not understanding. How do you know that murder? Do you think murder is wrong? Objectively wrong?
of course, brother,
Okay, how do you know it's objectively wrong?
because of my morals.
I can't. All right, next. Hey, how are you?
Okay, so God is imaginary. If
Yeah.
one lives a life with turbulence, with a lot of weight, and keeps on sorting things, that's when you will start feeling that God is not what they say it is. It doesn't have a form, but it's an energy. You feel through the vibrations.
Did you feel that through the vibrations? Next.
Right?
Hey, how are you?
Pretty good. How are you?
Good.
I'm like pretty spiritual myself. I'm not like a huge believer in like organized religion, and laws and regulations. But I do believe there is a creator, and I do believe that God exists. And I know you like people to provide evidence. My greatest piece of evidence would be that no one can explain scientifically what happened before the Big Bang.
Sure, we can. Quantum field fluctuation.
Does that
mean God is that mean God's not real now? Did I disprove God wrong?
No, because I don't know if that's actually something that's proven. You just said a bunch of words. What is
God's
that?
not
Can you
proven.
explain what
God's
that is?
not proven. Wait, God's not proven.
What?
You're asking for proof, right?
No.
But God isn't proven, so your
No,
standard is bad.
I just said I'm providing my best evidence that God exists, and my best evidence is that no science can explain what happened before the Big Bang.
This is an argument from ignorance. I don't know how this happened, therefore God. That's a fallacious argument. It's a fallacy. First of all, we do have a hypothetical or theoretical understanding of what happened before the Big Bang through quantum mechanics. God is not an answer to what happened before the Big Bang. You're just saying God. That doesn't do anything for us.
Wait, so can you
explain anything.
I'm actually curious. Can you explain that? How does quantum mechanics play into?
Yeah, there are certain scalar fields, one called inflaton fields, that contain particular amounts of energy that, when they fluctuate in certain ways, they can yield universes, yield space times.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of some other pieces of evidence that I usually bring, but I can't really think of any right now. What would you say about I guess these are all like personal anecdotes, but like what would you say about like miraculous instances of people surviving, like one in a million, 1 in a billion medical cases? Like do you think that has any correlation to a higher power?
No, I don't think just because something is rare, therefore it's God, right? People win the lottery, 1 in a million chance. Does that mean God is causing them to win the lottery? I don't know. I think that things just happen by chance sometimes. I think given an amount of things happening, let's say a billion things happening at least one time out of those by chance, you're going to have something extraordinary happen.
So wait, what's your opinion about the like scripture though that can be tracked throughout thousands of years and things like in Jerusalem, like the Western Wall or these, temples that were devoted to God? Like, do you think that even at that day and age, that is all, you think that was also all for nothing?
I think that people sincerely believed, just like all the ancients of the past, but Christianity is a relatively new religion. But before that, there were many other religions, and people have had temples and churches and going on for millennia before Christianity. And so I think it's just people being people, artistic, poetic, religious, something that people yearn for. They yearn for comfort, stories. I think Christianity is just one of those other things that took place of that.
Do you have something against like Christianity in specific, or you just don't believe in, like, do you dislike Christianity out of all religions that exist?
Well, I don't see any good evidence of Christianity, but yeah, there's a lot of the Bible that is just gross. The Bible does says a lot of bad things.
Okay, I guess my last question is, like, I know I'm getting off topic here, but would you say that, like, do you believe in any like karmic energy, um or like, I guess, like separate from God, just like, I guess, like in the voodoo category, almost like harnessing energy to place bad things upon people or even good things? Because this is like obviously like very common in places like Haiti and like Africa. Like, there's millions of people that practice these things. Like, do you believe in that at all?
Let's try.
All right. Yeah. All right. Very funny.
Yeah, nothing.
Okay.
Anything
So
else?
clearly not.
Okay. Anything else you got?
Um. No, that's
All right.
that's
Thank
about
you.
it. Yeah.
Look, guys, I am open to anything existing. I'm open to there being a God. My standards of evidence are high. I need evidence. I need data in order to believe in something. But I'm open. I'm open to there being karmic energy and spirits and ghosts and gods and ghouls and demons, but where are they?
Yo, what's up, bro?
Hey.
Can you hear me all right?
Yeah.
All right, so I want to go ahead and preface this by saying I used to be atheist not too long ago. So any perspective that you have, I think, I'm not saying that, this is a subjective experience. So obviously I can't say that, what I thought to be right now that I believe, that you'll think the same thing. But I'm going to exclude the Bible, and I want you to bring up logic. And I want to see if I can answer your questions logically outside of Scripture, because I know a lot of people seem to say, well, don't use the Bible to prove the Bible, because it's kind of a circular argument. So,
Hey, yeah. So you're asking me to what? Give an argument against God?
yeah,
Yeah. Do you think we have free will?
I do. I do think we've had.
Do you think that God knows the future?
Yeah, but foreknowledge is not causality.
I didn't say that, but nice try. So the fact that God knows the future implies a deterministic universe in which we can only choose the thing that is in accordance with God's foreknowledge, right? So, for example, if God knows I'm going to buy a car tomorrow, I have no other option but to buy the car because God knows it.
Well,
So
okay.
it's not. It implies that we are determined to follow God's knowledge.
We aren't, though, because he limits himself in ways in which he exists outside of time. He is
It doesn't explain away the problem. Again, God's foreknowledge necessitates a deterministic universe. The fact that the future is known means we cannot alter the future. So any sense of choice is illusory. If God knows I'm going to eat an orange for breakfast, I have to eat the orange. I can't eat anything else.
well, he only knows that because you chose to do it in that circumstance. It's not that he's causing you to do anything. You get to make that choice.
I didn't say he caused it. I didn't say he caused us to eat
Well,
the
you're saying that's
orange.
the only choice we have, meaning that
Right, right.
you're giving it a sense of force here. He's not forcing you to do anything. I
I
can
never
walk.
said I never said God is forcing it. I'm saying something about the universe is forcing us. I don't have a choice but to eat the orange.
But you do have a choice. You could walk up and punch me in the face if you so please.
But it wasn't a free choice if God knew I wouldn't do that. Right? It can't be free because I can only do things that are in accordance with God's knowledge.
God's for. He can know what you're going to choose to do, but that doesn't take away the choice factor there.
Yeah. So we can have. I never said we can't have choices. We may have choices. They're just determined. And that's the problem with the free will and omniscience.
Well, they're determined by yourself, not, he could have all the knowledge he likes. I mean, he created everything, correct? So when we think about that, he can have any kind of knowledge he wants, but the fact that you choose to do what you want to do is not changed. He does not implicate himself into your mind and, determine your thoughts and feelings, what you choose to do with your life, because that is the beauty of creation.
But this assumes you're smuggling in the sense that we have free will in the first place for this to work. Again, the fact that God knows the future and the future cannot change the future. If He knows I'm going to eat an orange for breakfast, that can't change.
Okay.
I cannot choose otherwise. Do you agree?
Well, let me put you into this perspective.
Do you agree that I cannot choose otherwise?
I do not agree, because I think you have.
So I can choose so I can eat an apple tomorrow for breakfast if God knows I'm going to eat an orange.
Okay, so before I can even answer this, we need to think about this in a way. For us to understand this, we are three-dimensional beings. We do not live outside of time. So when we make the choice within our perspective, we are able to choose whatever we'd like. But God is omniscient. He's able to see what we do before we do it, but He does not do anything to change our choices.
This is not addressing anything I'm telling you.
How?
If God, okay, just answer the question. If God knows I'm going to eat an orange for breakfast tomorrow, can I instead eat an apple?
No, but it's in two different.
Okay,
segments of
great.
time.
So I can't choose other than what God knows I will choose, which means I'm determined to follow God's foreknowledge.
But the only reason He has that knowledge is because you already made the choice. You make the choice yourself, and then He.
I didn't make the choice. He knows the future. I didn't make the choice yet.
Okay. I don't see how you don't see where I'm coming from here.
Okay, God knows what I'll do tomorrow. I'll choose the orange. Did I choose the orange yet?
Here is where I think you're losing me. Don't give me that fucking attitude. I mean, I don't really see why you're getting this way. I mean, I'm trying to propose my argument. I mean, you're getting snappy with me for no reason. When we think about this, okay, if I make a choice, right? If I want to walk up and I want to punch the President of the United States in the face, I can choose to do that. God can know that I can do that, but He does not change the fact that that's a decision I made, right? I can make whatever decision I'd like.
No, you're just assuming that we have free will. Yet again, you're not understanding the conundrum I'm raising. The problem is that, for example, if tomorrow God knows I'll eat the orange, I can't choose the apple. Do you agree?
I still don't agree, brother.
Okay. So you think I can eat the apple instead of the orange that God knows I will pick?
Once again, He does not. Your choice is independent from God's foreknowledge. You can make any choice that you desire.
I understand that, but the point is that the choice I'm making is in alignment with a deterministic universe, determining us to pick the orange. That's the point. The point is that if God knows the future, that means the future is set in stone. I can't change the future. Do you agree?
But you're the one who determined the future in the first place, so you weren't free.
But I can't change the future. That means I don't have the choice to change. I can only choose what God knows I will choose. That means I don't have the freedom to pick what I want.
But you do it every day.
I can't pick the apple. I can only pick the orange because God knows I will do that. Because the future is set in stone. Only one thing can happen, right? Only one possibility can actually happen.
Okay.
So if I can't choose other than that, I don't have free will.
All right. I'll settle with that, bro. I don't really know how other way to propose my argument here.
Okay. Thank you. I tried my best to yeah, plus I don't think we have free will. if everything I do, free will is an illusion, right? If everything I do is determined by the laws of physics, I don't really control that. I don't even control my thoughts, right? For example, if I pick these glasses up, it feels like I'm freely doing this, but in reality, there were a sequence of events that took place prior to this, right? I had a thought. I had a series of thoughts, but those thoughts were not something I chose freely. They're just things that happened in my head. And so everything we see around us, including my choices, are just the end result of the series of events that happened before my action. And so how can we have in any of this free will to choose anything freely?
So
Okay.
why are you live right now if you don't have free will? How are you live right now? You did the universe just tell you to go live or what?
Well, yes, I was determined to do this because
By
of
what?
external causes that I do not control. My thoughts,
Mm,
I don't control my thoughts.
But you control your actions.
No, I don't control
Your
anything.
thoughts and your actions are two distinct things. You hear me?
I don't freely control anything. I don't control my thoughts or my actions because my actions are determined by my thoughts.
No. Mm-mm. Mm-mm.
You don't think
Have you ever?
actions are
All
determined by
right.
thoughts?
Let's be honest here, Mike. Have you ever thought of doing something very, very like terrible, like just terrible? You know, maybe
Yes.
your younger days.
Yes, I'm thinking about kicking you right now.
No. All right. I'm sorry. All right. Was I rude?
No, it's a joke. What's
All
your
right. All
point?
right. But all right. Don't judge me. But I have crazy thoughts sometimes. I have thoughts of doing terrible things. But look, I don't do them, and I have a choice not to do that. You know.
No, that's not a free choice though, right? Because again, the conflicting thoughts in your brain are both determined as well, right? There's no
Can you re-say that? I'm sorry. Can you
you
re-say
can
that?
have conflicting thoughts in your brain, right?
Conflicting thoughts. What is?
Yeah, you can. One side of your brain says I want to do it, the other side says don't. But the
Oh,
side that doesn't wins because it was perhaps a stronger neural connection or something, right? It's
so do
again
you think that's
determined by a series of chemical events in the brain.
okay? Then that ties into my religion because like, have you ever seen that picture? Like even the cartoon show like one angel on your right side, one devil on your left side. I feel like that ties into what you're saying. Like I'm serious. Look, that's not actually my argument, but that's like
Yeah,
kind of the gist
yes.
of it.
Look, when you have conflicting thoughts, all it is the parts of your brain talking to each other. That's all it is. Your brain is made of many different parts, and
Okay,
so
then
of
what?
course you can have two different thoughts simultaneously.
So two different thoughts, but like, what about the actions? Do you have two different actions? Like, you only have one action, and that's you.
Yeah, you have one action, and the point is that the thought that wins is the one that determines your action. So you don't ultimately have free will in
The
the
thought that
libertarian sense.
wins, the thought that wins, or I'm sorry, are they battling with swords or something? What do you mean, the
Thought
thought
that
that
becomes
wins?
more powerful, right? You act upon thoughts that have more powerful neural connections.
What gives the certain thought more power? Do you know?
Just it's a chemical, physical reason.
Mm. Like electrons in your brain?
Yeah, electrons, the electrochemistry happening in the brain determines that, right? And
Yeah, I
so
see it.
it feels like we're choosing our thoughts, but we're really not freely choosing our thoughts.
That's like,
We're just the ones that are immediately taking action.
how is it how is it so hard for you to just like I hear what you're saying 100%, but like because I did research, but how are you just accepting that like we're like kind of like robots, like program robots not in control of ourselves? Like isn't that crazy? Like
Well,
Jeffrey Dahmer, like he why are we mad at him when like he literally
we're
you know what I'm
mad
trying to say?
because he did terrible things, right? That's why we
Yeah,
get
but
mad.
he didn't really want to. He probably didn't want to, but he was forced to because one side of his, like you said, one side of his
Yeah,
thoughts.
yeah. Ultimately, yes. Ultimately, we are just a clump of material, very intricate cells and neurons, and interacting with each other. Yeah, but that doesn't mean that we no longer have responsibility, and no longer. It doesn't mean that we can no longer hold people accountable for their actions. No, we want to stop people from doing bad things, even if they're not free in the libertarian sense.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. I want to stop
Yeah.
them too, but when it comes to the part of like bashing them and calling them sick, twisted animals, like it's not their fault, right? Because
Well,
they didn't have a choice, like they.
it's a bit complicated. There are reasons why people lash out and get angry. That's also determined. But yeah, you're right. A lot of what we do is often not our fault.
Yeah, amen. So I don't know. I feel like free will is probably the biggest thing here to debate because I don't know. I just feel like it's better than morals and stuff. I feel like it is with morals.
I
Free
think the
will
fact that
is.
we don't have free will is very good evidence that God doesn't exist.
Wait, yeah,
Because
actually, why?
why the hell would God make this planet where we're supposedly have to make choices to do the right thing, right? When we don't ultimately have a choice.
Maybe he was just trying to see who's naturally good versus naturally bad, so he can
But he
give them.
designed the world, and that's the problem, right? If God designed the entire world, the universe, well, then he's the one responsible for all this.
Well,
So everything we
maybe.
do is his fault. Everything we do is God's fault, not my fault.
Well, maybe it wasn't his. Maybe he was like just like us. Like maybe he didn't have a choice. Like maybe he doesn't have free will either.
Yeah. Okay, maybe God doesn't have free will. He's just a robot too. I don't see how
Oh,
that would be
so
I don't see
now
how
you're
that would be a
saying
powerful God though.
now
An
you're saying
agent.
we're.
Most people believe that God is an agent and he has free will. Most people believe that. Most theists do.
Yeah, true. I mean, I did too, but you just twisted my beliefs a little. I'm gonna be honest, because I never really thought of that, man. Uh, can we talk about morality then?
Yeah, make it quick though.
All right, if it's subjective, kind of like what I was saying, with the free will, like if it's subjective, then how can we bash people for doing what they want? Because if it's subjective, we pick our morality, right? Like we pick what's right and wrong. So how can we get mad at someone who has their own sense of morality, right?
Well, getting mad is just a natural reaction to somebody doing something we don't like, right? So of course we're going to get mad. That's trivial. But if you're asking me why do we judge, why should we judge? Because we live together in a society. If we want to work together cooperatively, and if we want to prosper as a species, we're going to stop and prevent people and shame people for doing wrong things that are antithetical to that goal. That's all.
Yeah, I see that. But all right, this is my last point because I feel like it's gonna get too deep. But like if we think back, right? So it's from society. You said society, uh, dictates why we get mad, right?
No, society doesn't dictate that. I'm just saying that when you're immersed in society, you're going to care about collective goals to accomplish.
So okay, so if we follow that society, then like where did it originally come from? You know what I mean? Like if
The
every human
brain.
being.
Morality comes from the brain. Morality comes from the brain. When we when we live in societies, well, we all talk to each other and go, "Oh, how do you want to live? Okay, let's live like this." Right. That's all.
But why do we want to live like that? Why not live like rape people?
Because we have that innate desire, right? Most people have that desire to live and prosper. We don't want to be harmed. We don't want to suffer. So we have we all have common goals.
Then why does every single country have different, if we have the same brains, right? Why does every country have different senses of living, different ways of living as a society? Like why do some societies like
Well,
cannibalism?
generally, we all have the same wants, right? To live and be happy and have a family. But yeah, there's going to be slight variations in what people want, and that's going to be influenced by other people. The media, society is going to be influenced by all kinds of culture. Of course, there's going to be slight variations of what people want.
Dang. But how are you answering every question? Like you answered every question, like from all your guests. I'm just wow. But I gotta go, man. It was good talking to you.
Thank you. Yeah, these things take thought. That's why I'm answering every question, because I've thought about these things for a long time.
Hello.
Hello, hi.
Hi.
How old are you?
I am 18.
Okay. Yes, what do you want to talk about?
How God is not imaginary. If God is imaginary, why? Where is Charlie Kirk? Because he is in he is in the kingdom of God, looking down at us.
I think he's looking up at us, if anything. Yeah, that's funny.
Where is he then? Because he's in the kingdom of God, looking down at us.
He's definitely looking up at us, but thank you.
Because we are.
She was just about to say it. All right, next. Do I believe in evolution? Yes, of course, it's a fact.
Yo, what's up, man? How's your day?
Good.
Yeah, so earlier I was watching, and earlier you said that God, like, I don't know exactly like how you worded it, but like God did something with Grape and Samuel. Like, what do you mean? Could you refer to me to that passage?
Well, in 1 Samuel 15, God ordered the death of the Amalekites, killing infants. He commanded the killing of infants and women who were not virgins. He also, in Numbers 31, also allowed for the taking of the spoils of war, the virgin woman, right? So, yeah, this implies that God allowed rape and murder.
Hang on, let me see. Trying to find it. I have my Bible here. So you said 1 Samuel, what, 15?
1 Samuel 15:3.
15:3. So the thing that I don't see anything about grape here, but still, I mean,
Yeah,
either way.
I mentioned two verses, right? Like, for example, Numbers 31.
Mm,
I think it's 7.
let me see.
Oh, here it is. Numbers 31:17. Now kill all the boys, kill every woman who has slept with a man, but save for yourselves every girl who has never slept with a man.
Mm-hmm.
That's crazy.
I still don't see where he says for them to get raped. They were murdered, yeah, but I don't
Yeah.
see
You know what spoils of war means?
spoils of war.
Yeah.
I can't lie. No, I don't know. I can't
It's
lie.
like it's like a reward, right? And this whole chapter is about the spoils of war, right? The whole chapter is about these people taking in these virgin women and taking their donkeys, taking their sheep and taking it for themselves. That implies, you know what?
I mean, That could imply that, yes, but I mean, I mean, it could also imply that they just wanted them for wives, though. I mean, that doesn't really like. I mean, if they want to take them
Yeah,
as a
that's
wife,
also
then
bad. Even if that's not what it's saying, but if that was the context, yeah, that's still bad. To take somebody captive and make them your wife, that's wrong, right?
hmm. Yeah, I would agree. But I mean, to be fair, I mean, back then, I mean, I do believe that that was also, I mean, there was like arranged marriage and stuff. So I mean, I still don't really see the problem. I
You
mean, that
don't
was a
see the
different culture
problem with
back then, so
taking
that could have been normal.
you don't see the problem with going to war, killing the women who had sex already, the non-virgin women, and stealing the virgins for yourself and forcing them to marry you. That you don't see anything wrong with that?
Okay, yeah. I got you. Yeah.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah, yeah.
but one thing is though, I mean, do you believe that God has the right to judge?
No. Who the fuck is he?
He's the God that created all of us, and he also gave us
Yeah.
like all of our love and stuff. And I feel like if we go outside that love and his creation, then we do deserve judgment in some points. Because I mean, if he like, let's say that I were to smack a little kid, I mean, and he just says, "Hey, just go out and buy some Starbucks. You're good." I would
Look,
say that's unjust. So the fact that he's punishing evil shows that he is also a good God.
look, we judge ourselves. We don't need God to judge us. Number one. Number two, God, the verse I just showed you you just agreed was something bad that God ordered. How can you call God good if you just disagreed with what he did?
Hmm.
And let alone the flood where he killed everybody in the flood, and let alone the Exodus where he allows slavery. I mean, come on. You
Yeah,
have to
but dude,
be
I mean, most of the
able to
time, I mean,
blame.
whenever he judged them like that, he gave them a significant amount of time to repent and turn from their ways. But they were all wicked. Like they all were doing terrible things, dude. I mean, so if
The
he wants to judge
infants,
them for
the
that, then that's
infants,
okay.
the infants were wicked.
I mean, if innocence gets swept along in the judgment, then I mean, that's just how it is, man. I mean, like
That's just how it is. The
there's
infants die
consequences. There's
too. That's
consequences to your
God is
actions,
good,
dude.
and so is the infants.
There's consequences to your actions, and it shows that we're more connected than we would like to say. I mean, if people get swept along in the judgment as well, then I mean,
So you think it's justified for some babies to be murdered?
hmm. Justified? No, I would say not justified, but I would
Okay,
say
so
that
then you just said is what you just said is incorrect by your own standard. It's not okay for the
I don't think you
innocent to
understand what I'm
die.
trying to say, dude. Like, because I'm not saying that like God like just killed them just for the sake of killing them. I'm saying that he had to judge the parents. And he also gave them ample time like for the women and the children to flee, but they didn't. So they get swept along in that judgment. I mean, that's just how it is, man. I mean, like it's not God's fault that they decided to not leave.
So what you're saying is it's okay for some babies to be murdered. That's okay. This is what you're saying.
I mean, it's just
This
like
is
okay, so
preposterous. This is insanity.
if a woman is pregnant,
Well, look, guys, we're gonna rape your wives and kill y'all, but we give you some time. But if you don't get out there within 2 minutes, we're gonna kill the babies too, okay? Okay. This is ridiculous. This is wrong. Clearly wrong.
it just shows that there's consequences to your actions. It's like if a pregnant woman starts drinking alcohol and the fetus gets fetal alcohol syndrome, that's a result of the consequence of the parent. It's the same thing here.
Yeah, but in this case here, no, it's not the same case because in this case here, the infants were not being harmed. Were not evil. They were just innocent babies. What the fuck did they do wrong? They cried too much?
No, they didn't do anything wrong, but their parents did.
Okay, so you think it's fair that the children suffer for the parents' wrongdoings?
I mean, it's not. I mean, it's not that he even got singled out. He judged people as a group. He never like judge people like singular. So I mean, since he judged them as a group, it shows that like, dude, why are you so disrespectful, man?
Me? I'm disrespectful? The one who thinks it's okay for some babies to be murdered? Because it's just what happened. Me? I'm the disrespectful one?
How is that? Okay, bro. All right, man. But I mean, like, it's just like I said, dude. Like, it's not like God's fault for them not wanting to leave, dude. I mean, they could have. They had ample time to leave, bro.
They had ample
But
time
since
to
the
leave.
innocent got swept in the
because they
judgment,
didn't leave, how long did they have?
around 500 years, dude.
What does it say that? in
Like the
verse?
whole group itself
Where does
had
it say
500
that they
years
had
to repent.
500 years? Where are you getting this from, anyway?
In the text, it shows that before judgment, he would give them time to repent.
Yeah, where in the text does it say that?
Hang on, let me see. I got you.
Well, I don't think you do.
Yeah, wait. My fault. Hang on. I'm gonna look up a verse real quick. So I'm gonna like, it's gonna be paused. I'll be right back.
Take your time. Don't worry, ChatGPT Plus is on a discount. So have fun with ChatGPT Plus. ChatGPT, how do I talk this? How do I get out of this situation? There's nothing that justifies this. This is atrocious. This is gross. The very Christians, let me guess, this guy is probably pro-life, right? Come on, this is silly. Of course it's wrong. This is non-justifiable. But it's, to me, actually sad that these kids, a kid like this, has to make excuses as to why killing innocent babies and raping virgins is okay. It's really sad.
Well, I mean, okay. Well, I'm back. If I'm being honest, I couldn't find nothing. But I mean, we could debate a different topic because I know that there was like different context and stuff to these passages. So personally, it doesn't really like.
Yeah, context. Yeah, I don't know
It
the
doesn't
context,
really, like-
but trust me, there's context. I don't know what it is. There
But
is
I mean,
no
I'm down to
context.
like debate the free will argument because I heard that as well, and I do believe we have free will.
Okay. We have free will. Were you forced to have it?
What do you mean?
Did you choose to have it? Did you have the choice? Did you choose to have free will?
It was given to me by God. So he chose. He chose for us to have
But you
it.
didn't freely choose to have it.
It's a gift. He gave us free will as a gift to show that because
But you didn't.
in order
freely
for us
choose
to
have
love
it.
God, it has to be a choice.
But you didn't freely choose to have it. So how can you have free will if God forced you to have it? How is that free will?
Honestly, man, I don't know. I'm gonna have to study some more. I can't lie, you kind of beat me, so I'll have to study some more. But
Yeah, no, that's good. Study, dude. Study,
it's like
learn.
that's
learn
on me.
about
I
the-
came
read the- read the
unprepared,
Bible.
dude. I came
That's
unprepared,
okay.
so that's on me, bro.
Okay. That's okay. That's okay. Read the Bible. Read everything. Read everything you can. Learn about science. Learn about history. Learn about religion. Learn about everything. Okay?
All right. See you, man. Have a good day.
You too. All right. Next victim, guest.
Hello.
Hey, how are you?
Hey, good. I believe in God, all that stuff. You know, Christian.
Okay. How old are you?
39.
Okay. Great. What do you have any good evidence in God?
Well, the whole reason I was trying to join was because of the free will. What?
I'm just telling my guests to tap the screen.
Oh, gotcha. But I mean, you know where I stand, and honestly, this is not like a tactic to try to put you in some weird position. I don't think I could. You're very smart. But I did want to kind of understand one thing you're saying about free will. And correct me if I'm wrong, but you were saying with the no free will that the choices that we make are all influenced by just our immediate environment, the culture we're around. Ultimately, everyone's kind of on the same level as far as what's right, what's wrong. There's some weird ones out there, and there's some small variations with the cultures, with different cultures and all that. And
Okay, so what is your point here?
so you're saying that all of the choices that we make is all a byproduct of just kind of the way our chemistry fell together and we formed our brains, and ultimately everything is just reactionary.
I
Chemically.
think we are completely and utterly subjected to the laws of physics, and we cannot choose otherwise than what we are presented with. We cannot choose otherwise.
Right.
We are just subjected completely to the laws of physics.
And even with and so let me ask you this. Would you say that the brain is one of the most complex things in terms of, scientific discovery and trying to understand?
Yes,
It's a very difficult thing, right?
yes.
So again, and just trying to understand the argument. I'm not emotional about like where you stand. Like there's some things I cannot argue with. I mean, it's just not going to happen. But if the brain is so complex, and it's one of the toughest things to understand, if it is just a matter of chemical makeup, reacting to the things around us and all this stuff, why would you say it is so difficult then to understand the brain and all the decisions that we make and it being so complex? I mean, even more complex than the largest computer in the world, which at this point, I don't know if that's still true, but it's a pretty complex thing. The brain is, and all these decisions.
Okay, so your question is, why is it like that? Is that your question?
Well, if it's so easy to understand the big picture of the brain, that it's just a chemical makeup, it's just reacting to stuff around us, then why does it become such a difficult thing to understand? Like with emotions and logic and all this stuff.
Well, those are two different questions. If you're asking me why is it so complicated to understand, it's because it's a very complex thing. And your brain is made of various different structures, all with their own synapses and neural connections. But if you're talking about free will, I think it's easy to understand. The nature of the nature of the brain is just physical, and if you understand that simply, then you understand that we don't have free will. But
Well, here's and I don't have
look, do you have any other points here? Because I want to move on to somebody who has a good point for God.
well, my hang up and also my reasoning why I don't feel like the brain is just a chemical makeup is I have a hard time understanding how the brain can be so easy as far as how it's made and what it come from, but then we get to the point of emotion and love, how all these, would you say that all these different cultures believe is right and wrong, that also is just that similar, so they just naturally kind of gravitated towards the same
Human beings,
morals?
we all have the same wants and needs and desires, and that's why cultures are very similar in this regard. Okay?
Yeah,
So
yeah.
thanks for being up, Lucky. Thanks for being up. I appreciate you. I guess I'm lagging. I don't know. Hey, how are you?
What's going on, man?
Not much. Yeah, how can we help?
Yeah, so I think the Christian God is real. Yeah.
Okay. Why?
Yeah, because I believe that the historical evidence of the resurrection and the prophecies, it's a culmination of things.
The historical resurrection?
The historical
So,
evidence of the resurrection.
oh yeah, the historical evidence. So what's the evidence of the resurrection?
Yeah, so the apostles believe that Jesus actually rose from the dead.
That's it? Because people believed it, therefore it's true?
Well, not necessarily. You also got the empty tomb.
The
You
empty
also,
tomb. Well, there's plenty of
yeah.
empty tombs on the planet. Does that mean that people resurrected from all those empty tombs?
No, but Christ was a special exception, right?
Oh,
Because, well, let me elaborate
right. I
because,
forgot. It's the special exception. I forgot.
yeah,
Logic,
let me,
all logic and physics suspended for Christ. I forgot.
that wasn't my point. Because
Okay.
if you read the story, I mean, Christ was obviously targeted, right? Targeted by the Pharisees and the Roman officials. So I mean, they're specifically going to be looking out for his body in particular, right? So that's
Look,
not
doesn't
really
it?
a
I think it just makes more sense and it's more parsimonious to say, "Hey, look, the empty tomb is because the guards just took his body and threw it off a cliff, and it's in the ocean somewhere." I think that's
why
more
do you think?
plausible than him
Uh,
resurrecting from the dead and becoming a zombie and coming back 2
yeah,
days later to pretend he did something.
yeah.
Um,
Why do you think the guards would have taken the body?
because they killed him. He was literally he was persecuted and prosecuted and died.
Yeah, but you do realize that Pontius Pilate and others were confused on where the body was, right?
Yeah, because they probably threw it off a cliff somewhere and it's in the ocean.
Why would he be confused if he's the one doing the action?
He's the one doing what?
You just said that the Roman guards were the ones that threw it off the river, right?
Yeah, there could have been a separate group of people who did it. Threw him off the cliff or something. Isn't that more plausible than him resurrecting from the dead? I just don't see how resurrections are more plausible.
Okay, why do you think that the disciples believed that he rose?
Why did the Mayans think that the sun gods were real? It's because people have believed in all kinds of things throughout history for bad reasons. Just because they were very convicted in their belief doesn't make it true.
No, this one's a little bit different, right? Because this is recorded as thousands of people seeing the dead Jesus.
Thousands
Yeah,
of people seeing Jesus.
rise from the dead. Yeah, the risen Jesus.
Yeah, where's that source?
1 Corinthians 1:15.
Oh, the source of the evidence is the claim itself.
Yeah. So why do you think Paul is writing that? Do you think he's trying to promote some kind of agenda?
Well, I think that you have a storybook that purports something, and it could have clearly been romanticized, right? Perhaps there was a Jesus guy that died, but people just wrote a story about this, right? Just like we write stories about aliens and Terminator and Bigfoot. I think that's
So
what's
why?
happening here. I think we're just making up a story because it sounds cool, you
Yeah,
know?
sure. Then why do you think that billions of people today believe this? If it's just not today, but over time, they've believed this, right?
Because people yearn for comforting fables that make them feel good in this vast universe.
Yeah,
And the
but
Jesus thing hits on every one of those points, right? You want to be comforted. You want to believe in an afterlife. You want to believe that somebody's out there guiding you and taking care of you, right? So Christianity hits on all those points. That doesn't make it true. It just
yeah,
emotionally
sure.
appeals to people. Yeah, this applies to every religion.
Yeah, sure. What do you think the intent is behind the? What do you think the author's intent is behind writing the stories?
I think the same intent for people writing, Odyssey and all those other fables and mythologies of the past. I think it's just people wanting to be creative.
No. Yeah, no, it's not the same thing because the Gospels are written in historical narrative rather than mythology.
Well, the Gospels were not contemporary. They're dated to decades, if not centuries, after the supposed resurrection happened. So there's no contemporary evidence of the resurrection. You say there's witnesses, but you're taking the witnesses as proof for some reason, which is coming from the very claim you're making. So it's just circular. But also, there's in Matthew, it says that everybody resurrected from their graves. Do you think that's also true? That all the other people resurrected too from their graves?
Yeah, I mean, we can look at the context of that passage because that's not what it's talking about. If you want to do that.
I think it's very clear what Matthew says. It says people came out from their graves.
Yeah, not everybody. You think everybody?
Let's read the verse then.
Yeah, sure. I'll go get it.
The graves were opened, Matthew 27:52. And the graves were opened, and many bodies of the saints which slept arose, and came out of the graves after his resurrection, and went into the holy city, and appeared unto many. You think that's also true? These zombies were walking around the streets. Ooh, we are back to life. You think that's true? Do you think, sir? Do you think that I Am Legend actually happened too? Dawn of the Dead, I Am Legend. It's all right. It's all true. It's all historical. Yeah, Michael Jackson's Thriller. Do. Wait. Des, you there? Oh no, maybe he resurrected.
Well, you muted me.
Oh,
Explain the problem.
I'm sorry. I didn't mute you actually, but go ahead.
How do you explain the prophecies?
Oh, now we're pivoting? Okay. The prophecies, well, which ones?
Psalm 2.
Psalms 2? What?
22.
Psalms 22, what does it say?
It's basically a prophecy about how Jesus will die.
Oh, the forsakenness? My God, why have you forsaken me? That's proof that that's Jesus? There's no mention of Jesus in the Old
Continue
Testament.
reading. Yeah, continue reading.
Hold on, I don't see the whole thing. Darkness falls across the land. Okay. My God, why have you forsaken me? Why are you so far from saving me? So far from my cries of anguish. My God, I cry out by day. Where's Where's Jesus? I don't see Jesus in this whole chapter.
Brother, can you go to like verse 6 and read down?
But I am a worm and not a man, scorned by everyone. All who see me mock me, they hurl insults, shaking their heads. Yeah, where's Jesus?
Yeah.
Is he a worm now? Jesus is a worm?
No.
Okay. So then where's Jesus in the verse?
Medical. Are you like scared to read it or something?
Keep reading? He trusts in the Lord, they say.
Yeah.
Let the Lord rescue him. Let him deliver him, since he delights in him. Yet you brought me out of the womb. You made me trust in you, even at my mommy's breast. Keep going. I still don't
we
see
can
where
dissect
Jesus
what
is.
that
So
means right there, right? Yeah, so looking for the specific Jesus in
you want
there.
to suck my mother's
Is that what you're
breast?
looking for?
Sure. Where's Jesus in this verse?
When it's talking about, yes, when it's talking about the womb and about Mary, right? And it actually talks about in the gospel accounts about how they were telling Jesus to bring himself down if he's truly the Son of God.
So which verse explicitly says Jesus is coming back, or even implicitly says it?
Yeah, that does implicitly say it.
Which one? Which verse?
Bro.
The worm one?
Yeah, Psalm. Yeah, so
Psalm 6?
Psalm, brother, the whole chapter, Psalm 6 and down. I mean, you do realize that Psalm
I'm a
1,
worm,
Psalm
not a
22, 1,
man.
my God, my God.
My God,
You
my
do realize
God.
that
I'm not convinced that this is Jesus' resurrection. I'm just not convinced, sir. I don't think
yeah,
even
so it's
biblical
not just
scholars would agree.
so it's not just one prophecy, there's multiple prophecies. I mean, it's talking about how,
You
first of
haven't
all,
even
Psalm
given one
22,
yet. Wait, you
talking about
haven't
how
even
he
given
was,
one fucking prophecy yet. You're gonna tell me there's another one? You haven't given the first one
that
yet.
is a prophecy. You can go to Isaiah 53 if you want.
Sir, I'm not convinced that this
Man,
is a
said
prophecy. Pierced.
Bro. Yes.
You know that crucifixions happened before Jesus, right? Or at least
Talking
Roman
about,
crucifixions. Crucifixions were
yeah, but
not
still,
something new
Roman
when Jesus hit
crucifixion
the.
was, you realize at the time the time of David was not even in Rome, right? You realize that, right? So why would that?
Dude, I'm sorry, but you're cutting out way too much. I can't even hear you.
Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Unfortunately, yeah.
Yeah. So you do realize that Psalm 22 is in the context of David, right? David's time period, and that's not Roman crucifixion was not where David is. It's not in Rome. So why would it be that specific death?
Psalms 22?
Correct.
How does this show that this was Jesus' death?
Does it talk about a person dying in Psalms 22?
I don't think so, but even if it does, many people have died, not just Jesus. So how is
Yeah,
this
but the
about
specific.
Jesus?
Yeah, because it's the specific way he died, right? It says he tears his garments, they mock him. He's pierced. There's
Jesus
multiple
was the
factors that.
Jesus was the only person mocked and pierced?
No, but what?
Okay,
Okay,
so
what
then
about
how do you know this was
What about
Jesus?
what about tore his garments?
Jesus is
What
the
about
only person
saying?
that had their garments torn?
Okay, what about when they say, "Take yourself down"? Take yourself down if the Lord truly delights in you.
Take
Who do you
yourself
think?
down? I don't know what that means. Take yourself down. I don't know what context that even is referring to.
Because the people that were mocking Jesus claimed to be the Son of God, right? So they were like, if you're truly the Son of God, take yourself down from the cross.
Take yourself down. Take yourself down. Where does it say that in Psalms?
Bro, read the verse.
I don't see it in Psalms.
You don't see where it says, if the Lord delights in you.
I don't see
Bro,
it. No, I don't see it where it says take yourself down from the cross. Take yourself down
it
for
doesn't
IT.
say that. It doesn't say that verbatim.
I don't see where it even says take yourself down.
Yeah, again, it doesn't say that
Take
verbatim,
yourself
but it
down to
says,
the club. Take yourself down to the stripper pole. I don't know what it's telling you to take yourself down to.
brother, I just said it's not saying that verbatim.
Okay, so I'm confused. I don't know what this is referring to. I don't know what you're talking about. So
I mean, don't you agree it's a little too specific? Why do you think it's doing that those
no, it's a
specific?
little bit too vague.
Okay, what about Isaiah 53? Because remember, it's not just one prophecy
We're
proves
not doing
Christianity.
this, sir. Look, we're not doing this. You're not going to go,
Well,
how
you
about this
can't.
verse? How about this verse? Without
Well, you can't
showing me a
just,
convincing argument first, right? You can't just
brother.
skip ahead.
Brother, that's not skipping ahead. That's called a. That's a. It's more than just one thing that makes somebody believe something. It's not just one thing. It's a
Right,
multitude of
but
things.
this not at all is too ambiguous. This verse, this whole chapter is too ambiguous to confirm that this is referring to the resurrection. That's the problem.
Do you agree that the Old Testament is constantly talking about a Messiah to come?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, and it's talking about how the Messiah will die, bro. It talks about that in multiple
It
chapters.
doesn't
That's what I'm trying to
mention a
say.
crucifixion. It does not mention a resurrection or a crucifixion at all.
Bro, go to Isaiah 53. Just,
All right, I'm gonna
just,
do this. I'm gonna do
yeah,
this. Isaiah 53.
yes.
He grew up before him like a tender shoot, and like a root out of the dry ground. He had no beauty or majesty. He was despised and rejected by mankind, like one from whom people hide their faces. Okay, where is this, sir?
Keep reading.
Where's fucking
Brother,
Jesus?
brother,
Where's
keep
fucking
reading.
Jesus?
Can you keep reading?
What am I, your fucking bedtime story guy?
I mean, you want me to read it to you?
Surely he took up our pain and bore our suffering, yet we considered him punished by God. Punished by God?
Yeah.
God punished him?
Yes. Brother,
God
brother,
punished
what is,
himself?
you do realize that the Trinity is three
Don't
persons.
do that, Mike. You must resurrect now. This is
You
absurd.
do.
Okay.
Just read, bro.
He was pierced. Oh, this is what you think is the resurrection. He was pierced for our transgressions. He was crushed for our iniquities.
Yep.
Oh my God. Nobody's ever been pierced before. Only Jesus Christ.
What about pierced for our
How
transgressions?
does this tell us this was Jesus?
Brother, what do you think it means when it says he's pierced for our transgressions? That means he's pierced for our sins.
No. What? That doesn't follow.
Okay, what's transgression mean?
Yeah, people can be.
Brother, what does transgression mean?
It means doing something wrong.
That's not even what it means, bro. Brother, can you actually just read the whole chapter, please?
Sir, can you just tell me where the fuck Jesus is? in this chapter. Being pierced,
Again,
you can be pierced in any part of your body, right?
yeah, Psalm 22 and Isaiah 53 both depict the Messiah as being pierced. Do you think they're just guessing? What do you think they're
No,
doing,
being
bro?
pierced was something common back then as a form of punishment, right?
No, not during David's
Yes, it
time period.
was. Yes, it
No,
was.
it's
Being
not.
pierced, being harmed, slashed, those are all common forms of punishment back then.
You do realize crucifixion is specifically a thing in Rome, right? And then in David's time period is they're not David's not even in Rome, bro. So how would he know that? So why would it be that specific death?
Okay, when was Jesus crucified?
It's not an exact date, but I mean it's around 30 AD.
Oh, because we have records dating back to the 6th century BCE, 700 years before that, where resurrections were occurring in the Middle East and crucifixions were happening in the Middle East. By King Darius first of Persia, Alexander the Great.
Bro, what?
Yeah, bro, crucifixions were common for centuries before Jesus.
Bro, Alexander the Great didn't even get crucified. What are you talking about?
He was the one that brought the practice to the Mediterranean area,
Where's Rome at?
Italy.
Is that the Middle East?
I said the Mediterranean, you moron.
Bro, you literally just said Middle
The
East.
Mediterranean.
Bro, you said Middle
The
East.
Middle East
What are
was
you
referring to
talking about?
Persia. That
Bro,
was
you literally
before
said Middle. Bro, you said Middle East.
the Middle East and the Mediterranean. Both had crucifixions before Jesus. The Roman Empire was also up to like Egypt at certain points. So yeah, technically Rome, parts of Middle East were in Rome before the Roman Empire.
Bro, can you just explain why the author of Isaiah is writing it as the Messiah is going to be pierced for our sins?
I don't see sins anywhere.
Transgressions and iniquities? Can you just
Yeah.
look up just look up what those words mean?
Transgression is breaking a law.
Yeah. And look up what
Yeah,
iniquity.
people can break laws with outside of the context of religious laws
Bro,
or
what?
Christian laws.
Yeah, so what do you think it means when Yeah, so what do you think it means when somebody dies for their transgressions? What does that mean?
It means they were punished for violating the law.
Bro, that's not what it means. It's talking about in the context that he's dying for other people.
It means you're
He's-
punished for breaking the law. Many people were back then. That was a very common
Yeah.
thing to be punished for breaking the law.
Bro, look up what
So,
iniquities means.
The Old Testament, I think that reverse you're referring to just was talking about some guy who was being harmed or punished for breaking a law. Not Jesus necessarily. I'm very not convinced that this is talking about Jesus.
Why is it talking about it in a futuristic tense? Like look at the words that they're using.
It's just describing an event like this. It's not talking about the future necessarily. That's just the way that people wrote back then.
Bro, what? Do you even know do you even know like how the Hebrew language is?
Do I even know how the Hebrew language is? I don't know.
Yes.
I don't know what you're talking about. I don't know what the fuck that means.
Yeah, so like when somebody's writing
I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
so when
I can't do this anymore. I'm sorry, guys. I'm sorry.
Hello.
Hey, how are you?
Good. How are you?
I was all right before the last guest, but
Sorry.
now my head is. I have a migraine.
I'm sorry that happened to you. I can't tell you that God isn't imaginary. I can't prove that yet. I'm still working on it. But I have scientific observations, in my opinion, that kind of prove that there's some sort of creator out there. I'm a math I'm at university for math, so I like I like math. I like space. I'm very much strong-headed like that. So I'm not going to prove it with the Bible. I'm not going to prove it with, sources that are, you wouldn't believe in, right? So I'm not going to do that. Like, I believe that the universe is fine-tuned. Like, for example, like the Big Bang Theory was so, it only happened once. Like, this isn't like it was a random, totally, it was a random thing. It happened only once. And I'm just saying that, to me, our Earth is so fine-tuned that if gravity was a little stronger, stars would be burning out, planets would be unsustainable. If it was weaker, stars wouldn't even form at all. I'm just saying, for the universe to be so fine-tuned, I feel like there has to be somebody behind it who made that fine-tuned. So I was just curious about your thoughts on it.
Yeah, I disagree. I think that the constants of the universe, a lot of them can vary by an order of magnitude, and we could still exist, and there could be life that still exists in those worlds. Cosmological constant, for example, dark energy. These things could have been 5-10 times greater or lesser, and we'd still be able to exist. In fact, you can actually argue that if you tweak dark energy enough, you can actually get a universe that's more suitable for life. Number one. Number two, I don't know if you know what the Big Bang is, but that has nothing to do with it. Not necessarily the only thing that only happened once. There could be many other Big Bangs, an infinite number of Big Bangs. We might just be one universe out of billions and billions of other universes. And so, yeah, so given the numbers, of course, a universe like ours could arise if there's an infinite number of possibilities.
That's good reasoning. So, I also, I find it kind of cool / kind of weird that like the universe just follows mathematical laws just by coincidence, and like there's an order and a structure in nature. So like how do we prove that that's just like a normal random thing that could happen in another universe that God didn't make?
Well, I wouldn't say that the universe follows math. I would say that the opposite is true. Math follows the universe. So that's why it seems like, oh wow, how does our math fit so perfectly with the universe? Well, that's because we use math to describe how the universe works. But yeah, I don't see why. I don't see why this argument works at all. I don't see how this argument is evidence of God, right? Like even if there was fine tuning, I don't think we don't even have to grant fine tuning. But if we did, why couldn't the fine tuning be done by some natural thing?
That's true too.
Some kind of natural selection of universes, just like there's natural selection of life. Why couldn't there be natural selection of universes where the universes that didn't get the right conditions failed and the universes that got the right conditions survived?
That's true too. That's why it's like a working theory that I have. I'm just like, it's my personal belief, it's your personal belief, there's nothing wrong with that, but I just wanted to at least give a question about it that wasn't based on the Bible, because I bet you've heard a lot of those ones. And I'm trying to, I don't want to say disprove that, but just point out the fact that we don't have to go to the Bible for all of our reasoning.
I absolutely agree. Yeah, most people don't take the Bible route because that's very bad. It's not very good. But yeah, even these arguments don't work very well in my eyes. The fine tuning doesn't work to me. In fact, I would actually argue that fine tuning backfires on the theist, because what finely tuned God to be able to create such a finely tuned universe in the first place? Does God need fine tuning? No, God was always there in that way. That would make a universe happen like ours. Well, then why does the naturalist need an alternative explanation? Why can't we just say, well, yeah, that's just the nature of the universe. It just happened so that this universe could arise, right? We can say that.
Yeah, that answers my question. Thank you so much for having me up here.
Thank you. Yeah, she's very respectful and nice. Thank you. All right, next victim. Guest.
Hello.
Hey.
So I would like to answer, as a Christian, I would like to answer the prompt, which is, God is imaginary. So I can, basically, in the sense of your imagination, I can prove that you can't actually imagine what God is. So, for example, if someone says that God is, he's been around forever, that he
Boring. Sorry, I don't think we would get anywhere. Where's my moderators at? Come on, man. Mute this guy. Mute the spammers. Hello? Hello? Let them believe what they want. So I am, right? I'm not forcing you to not believe in God. I'm just questioning God. And I think that's healthy. It's healthy to question and to challenge. You know, I understand a lot of people get angry when I do this. A lot of people are mad. Don't do this. But that's exactly why I do this, because it shouldn't be the case that we get mad just because we challenge our beliefs about God. I think this is something we shouldn't make taboo. It should be commonplace. And because of that, I think the world will be a better place.
Hello.
Hey.
Hey, I saw you were a vegan on your profile.
Okay.
I disagree with you.
About what?
So, are you saying that you're vegan from the perspective of you not wanting animals to be in these harsh conditions and being treated poorly, or simply the idea of humans killing animals? Which one is it?
Veganism is a stance that seeks to minimize exploitation of the animals. We don't want to commodify animals as if they're objects that we get to take advantage of. We don't
Okay,
want
so
that.
what
That's
about
all it
the
means.
what about the instance in which people have animals and they treat them in proper conditions? They're still killed and they're still used for human consumption.
Yeah, that's exploitation.
Okay,
We're
so
against that. Yeah.
but so then you're just going against the cycle of nature and the predator just always being dominant. I mean, would you tell a lion not to hunt its prey because they're exploiting a gazelle? Probably not, right?
No, because lions cannot talk to me, right? But you can talk to me. And so, do you think that we should just follow whatever is natural?
Yes, I do.
Okay, so when lions eat their own cubs, it's okay for us to eat our babies too?
I don't think everything natural we should follow. I think there's some
Oh, okay. There you go. Thank you.
that
So
doesn't.
just because something is natural doesn't make it good, right?
I never said that. I'm simply saying that
This
there's
is your
some.
argument. Your argument was, oh, it's natural. You're
No,
going
that's
against
not.
nature.
That's not what I'm saying. That's not what I'm saying at all. I think
You
if we
did.
followed natural pathways throughout all of human history, we wouldn't have advancements and we wouldn't have modernization and we wouldn't have all the findings that we'd have today. However, I do think there are certain methods of natural behavior that we should still follow today. The food we eat, the way that we, the surrounding ourselves with people that we love, and these are all natural things and things that animals also experience in nature. But that's what
Yeah.
makes us human, is that we can experience both sides, is because we're intelligent enough to understand that modernization and all these things that we explore are necessary. But
If we were so smart, we wouldn't
yeah,
be hosting these billions of animals in gas chambers and in factories and in cages for no reason. We don't have to eat the fucking
okay,
meat. We don't have
but
to consume the
that's the
meat. Why are we
thing.
doing this?
That's
We're
the thing is
doing
that
it for bad reasons. That's my
so
point.
so
You
that's
don't
the
have
thing
a
is that
justification for it.
so that's the thing is that I agree with you on that. I'm not saying I'm against putting animals in harsh
No, no, no,
conditions
no.
in
You're
gas
not
chambers.
going to sit here and
Go
say
ahead.
this bullshit. Stop.
Okay.
I'm against factory farms, but it's
Yes.
okay if I kill them and I hunt them myself.
Yeah. That's
No,
exactly what I'm
no,
saying.
no. The
Because
problem
that's
is
not natural. Human.
it's inconsistent. Because ultimately, you would never want to hunt a person. You wouldn't justify hunting a person or a dog, right? And so if you say, well, it's okay to kill deer or cows, but not dogs, that's inconsistent. What's the difference? There is no difference in how we should be treating them. So you don't have a good justification.
Okay. May I speak
Hunting
now?
is still wrong. Killing them nicely is still bad.
May I speak now? After you muted me. That's just a poor argument because lions and tigers and animals of all the kinds in the wild, they don't kill their own kind, right? You
Sure they
see
do. Yes, they do. Lions kill
it's
their
not
own
common
babies.
though.
It's very common for animals to eat their own babies. Very common.
Right, but I'm saying full grown, right? Hyenas.
Yes, full-grown adult animals often kill their young by accident, on purpose, for food. It happens all the time. That
Okay,
doesn't mean
so
we should follow that.
what's your point in all of that? What?
My point is that we should not be treating animals like shit. We should be kind to them. We should be respectful to others. We should not be abusing them. It's that simple.
Okay. Okay, interesting. So then what would you say about humans if you dated back thousands and thousands of years? What would you say about the fact that humans were mainly carnivores?
That's false. That is completely false. But even if that was true, well, we now know that we no longer have to consume animal products. We don't have to consume it today. But more importantly, but also I would say that yes, our ancestors were largely herbivorous. They were not carnivorous.
Really?
Yes.
Do you have proof of that?
Yes, we have studies showing that looking at dental records of these ancient human sites, and we found they were eating mostly berries and nuts, fruits, roots and tubers and potatoes, things like that.
Okay, so then what do you say about the era in which humans started to just introduce agriculture, and only at that period of time we noticed that their skulls became smaller, their bones became weaker, their teeth started rotting, but as opposed to before this era, they were eating meat and they were a lot more well developed. That's why if you go to
they didn't have the same nutrition we have today. The people that had their teeth rotten, they didn't have the same medical care that we have today, the same dental care. They didn't have any of that. So of course they would be that way. But there's nothing that meat does to prevent any damage to your body. In fact, eating meat raises risk of heart disease and cancer and diabetes. So no, there's no evidence that our ancient ancestors were eating meat and they were healthy until they ate vegetables. No, there's no evidence of that. The evidence suggests that today, when you consume a plant-based diet, you are on average healthier, better health outcomes.
Okay. I mean, I think you brought up some good points, but I still disagree with you on the natural aspect. Like, I do think that humans should act based on their natural instinct.
Okay, so if
Or in
it's
other
my
words,
instinct to grape,
okay,
it's okay to
right, and
grape.
then you're gonna go on and say a bunch of stuff about natural. No, I don't think we should kill our babies. I'm saying that it is a natural human instinct to want to eat other animals, right? I feel like that's
So
a
when
fair.
you're
I
when
feel
you
like that's a fair
so,
thing to say.
but is it? No, it's not fair because when I, for example, go into somebody's home and they have a dog, do I have an instinct to eat the dog? Come here, dog. Right? Do I when I see a squirrel, do I have an instinct to eat the squirrel? No, I have an instinct to get by it and hug it. It's cute. It's cuddly. We humans don't have that kind of instinct to chew and harm. That's not what we're doing. We don't do that. That's been taught to us. We've been conditioned to think that we have to eat animals because it's normal, but that doesn't make it good.
Okay. So, yeah, I'm okay. Just really quickly, I'm not too, like I didn't study like to be honest, I didn't study so much on the like dating back to how humans have hunted or have eaten in the past. But are you saying that there hasn't been a period of time where humans have been largely hunters and gatherers and worked in social groups to kill animals?
Sure, of course our ancestors hunted, but that
Okay.
doesn't mean that we have to too today.
Okay, right, but that proves my point that it's still a natural instinct, right?
Well, it might be a natural thing they did, but it's not instinctual to me to kill an animal. To me, the instinct I have is to take care of somebody like an animal. To to not, I don't think kill it. I think, hey, that's cool. It's an interesting, amazing animal. Let's take care of it. I don't have the instinct to go, smash, kill, eat. I don't
Well,
have
yeah,
that
I
instinct.
think there's certain animals that
Maybe
you
you
have.
do. Maybe you're mentally crazy up there, but I don't have an instinct. I have an instinct to take care of
That's
others.
not what I'm. No, I mean, there's certain animals that you did that have been domesticated throughout history. There's certain animals that are domestic. I mean, cats in Egypt and
But
yeah.
why? Why do we think certain animals are for food and some animals are for pets? It's all societally conditioned. There's nothing. There's nothing innate in the human body that says we
There's
have to
no
eat animals.
nutrition.
It
There's no
doesn't.
nutrition. There's no nutritious value between a cow and a dingo or a dog or whatever.
There's no nutritional benefit of eating any meat versus
Okay,
plants. Just
so
it's
I mean,
not.
like
It's not helping at all.
obviously, like you're a lot like I mean, like I'm a student. Obviously, like you're a lot more like well educated on me, but like I'm sure there's plenty of studies out there that show that there are um, there are a lot more or there are benefits that you can reap out of a carnivore diet that you just simply cannot get out of a vegan diet.
Oh yeah, I'm sure there's studies, right? But there isn't. There is no such
Okay,
study. There's no
okay,
science that shows us that eating meat
really.
really.
I think you might just be denying that because you don't want to
Great.
look
So
into
can you
it.
provide a single source that shows
I
eating
might be
mostly
able.
meat is healthy for you?
There will be a point in time where I will be able to. I can't currently do that,
Okay.
but I
So
think that might be
why would you bring
confirmation
that up? So
bias.
why bring it up if you can't support it? Right? That's like me saying Bigfoot's real. Bigfoot's real. That's all you've done.
Mm.
I can bring up the Epic Oxford study. I can bring up the Adventist Health 2 study. I can give you the China study. These are meta-analyses, long-term studies on vegan diet showing that they are way better for health outcomes.
I just find that I find that so. So why is it that vegans most of the time that vegans are typically skinnier and they're weak boned?
Oh yeah, where's your source that we're all weak-boned?
I don't have a source
So why the fuck should we believe you? That's
because it's my
that's not true.
because it's
There's
my
evidence. There's evidence that if you
I'm
eat
basing that off my experience.
your experience of what? Looking at people and going, "Oh, you're skinny."
No,
That
my
means you're
no
not well. No,
no
people
my
see.
experience of seeing vegans and just recognizing patterns.
Yeah, what you're seeing are extremists on both sides. People who say only carnivore, only meat, butter, raw milk. Right. You're also seeing the vegans who are not really vegan. They're plant based. Right. They're fruitarian or whatever, and they on that opposite side of the extreme, and so they eat raw fruits and that's it. that's who you're seeing. That's who gets the clicks, and that's what gets the attention. The people who are poor, who die or are harmed from these extreme diets. But the evidence shows overwhelmingly, if you get a well-planned diet as a vegan, you're going to be just fine, if not better, than the counterpart meat eater.
Okay, so I know you probably want to head out, but you'll find this interesting, I think, based on what we talked about. I'm sure you've heard of this, a case in which obviously I mean, we all know dolphins are pretty intelligent marine creatures, right? So like you've seen the case in which these dolphins will take pufferfish, right, and they'll sort of abuse them and play with them. And essentially what happens is they bite these pufferfish and they get some sort of high from it. You can look this up. This is a totally real thing. And they sort of bully these pufferfish in pods. But my point is that if your whole idea is that humans should have a more responsibility because they are more intelligent, what would you say to an animal like a dolphin who is perfectly capable of doing these things and harming these creatures?
No, they're not. Dolphins are not moral agents. Only humans are moral agents.
Look up the case I just told you.
Look,
how can you refute that?
These animals do not have the same, remotely the same amount of rationality that humans have. They are vastly different in terms
That's
of
not my
intellect. Well, your point is, well, they're smart. Therefore, shouldn't they?
My
be
point is that
morally culpable?
they're also capable of
Of stopping?
they're also capable of experiencing these. They're also capable of experiencing pleasure through. Okay, you're saying that humans are treating animals harshly and we are gaining from it, right? And that is not moral, right? So I'm telling you that on the same token, dolphins are also capable of treating these animals harshly and gaining pleasure from it, as the case I just told you. I'm not saying that.
What's your point? We should be like the dolphins and
No,
fuck
my
everybody?
point is that you said that humans are not like lions, and that's the reason we
Right,
shouldn't.
we don't follow lions for morality. We don't look at the dolphins and go, "Hey, dolphins, what are you doing? Playing with your fish? Okay, I should do that too." We don't do that. We have our own set of morals that we've contrived for our own reasons. And to me, you're inconsistent if you say, "Oh yeah, dogs are not food, but cows are food." That's inconsistent. What's the difference?
So why don't you put blame in this case on an animal like a dolphin who's harming
Because they
creatures
don't know
who,
better. They're fucking dolphins. They don't have stores. They don't understand morality. They don't understand veganism. They don't understand any of this shit. They're dolphins. Yes, they're
Okay.
smart on some levels. Yeah, sure, they can do some interesting, clever tricks, but that doesn't make them agents.
Okay,
like
so
we
you're saying that the dolphins may experience pleasure, but they don't understand that these creatures are
They do
suffering
not
so immensely.
remotely understand what's happening on the level that we do. They don't have that kind of introspection that we do. Humans are unique in that way.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, I gotta look into this more, but I mean I know there are sources that exist. Um,
Yeah, I know there's sources. They're somewhere out
I
there.
do,
I know. They're
I
somewhere
think
out
you
there.
know as well. I have a feeling if
Maybe
you're
one
so
day they'll come
educated,
to me.
you know, I have a feeling if you're so educated on this topic, you're telling me you can't find a single source out of all of your years of research that a carnivore diet, not a carnivore,
Yes.
strict
In
diet.
fact, all the evidence shows carnivore diets are bad for you.
So why isn't this more said around? Why isn't this more common to say and to
Because
push?
people online look, all those carnivores, they sell you fucking pills and what, supplements. That's all they care about, selling you shit. So people like you go, "Oh wow, let me buy a
By
TikTok
what?
shop."
What are you?
That's
Wait, what are you
do.
referring
just
to?
buy supplements.
What are you referring to?
The carnivore influencers that say all this
What do you
shit.
mean supplements? What
They sell
supplements?
you supplements and
Like?
pills so they can creatine,
I don't
morphine,
I don't
taurine,
I don't buy
borderine,
that shit,
get
dude.
big and strong
I
like me.
I
It's
don't
all
buy that shit.
nonsense. It's all a scam.
What you
And
think? Wait a minute. You think creatine is bad for you.
There's no evidence that it improves your health in any significant way. Especially all the raw milk and all
Do you
that
have
stuff.
do you
None of
have a
that stuff
medical background? A degree?
a medical background?
Or do you have some sort of degree? I don't know. I mean, I feel
I
like
have a
you
science degree, but why? What's your
okay.
question?
Because there's just there's like a lot of contradictory points that people bring up. Like I hear people talking about how creatine is good for your cognitive function later on in life, and then there's people like you saying that there's no benefit to it.
Well, there could be small benefits, but there's no significant benefits of supplementing with creatine. It's nuanced. This is why you don't often hear correct ideas, because people don't often look at the evidence. They
Okay.
often just say things out of their own inklings and feelings. They're not looking at the data.
Okay. Well, back
And
to your
that's the
point, what were you saying
problem.
about the supplements?
What?
Back to your point, what were you saying about the supplements?
Most of these carnivore influencers that tell you vegans are bad and unhealthy are just trying to sell you something.
Okay. I mean, I agree with that.
They're trying to get views. They're trying to sell you pills and
I mean,
supplements,
I agree. You know Liver King, right? You've
gym
seen that
workout
guy.
stuff. It's all about
Have you
that.
seen Liver King?
Unfortunately, yeah, I've seen his stuff.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. Like that's an example of that, but
He's a
I mean, I don't.
grifter. They're just grifters. They have no actual scientific
Yeah, I
understanding.
mean, I don't believe in that shit. Like, I'm not like, all right, like I see some dude eating fucking raw liver. I'm like, all right, like I'm gonna buy some pills. Like, that's not what I'm doing, you know? But like, I do. Yeah, I agree. I a lot of my points may be based off how I was raised and how other people around me were. Um,
Okay, great.
and
So
yeah,
look, I would urge you to learn the data, look at the evidence, look at those studies you thought you had, and you'll find that the evidence is overwhelmingly in my favor. Not just the evidence of nutritional
Hmm.
benefits, but also the moral benefits. There's
Okay.
environmental
I'll
benefits.
I'll come back to
Humanism
you on
is
I'll come back to you on the nutritional benefits because there's just no fucking way. I find that hard to believe, but I guess for now you'll take the edge, but yeah. All right. Later.
Hey guys, Liver King here. I just ate some testicles. Get my testicle supplement. It has semen in it from bull semen. Get it online for $59.99.
it's and this last guest was like, really? Wow. Let me buy. I gotta buy it. Please take my money. That was the last guest. All right, next victim. They're all red. Their whole faces are red. They look like tomatoes. Hey, how are you? Yeah. One last victim here. The idea that Earth even exists would be like a tornado creating a Boeing 757. This is a commonly used analogy, but it miserably fails. because people don't take into consideration the amount of time, the amount of different physical processes that went into generating the Earth. It wasn't just a bunch of stuff just happened to mix together like a tornado. We're talking about billions of years of incremental, tiny, small changes over time. Gas clouds that contract, and because of angular momentum, they start spinning, and gas and dust collects in the center, and you get a disk, and you get fragmented material that clumps together due to gravity and other forces. They turn into clumpier and clumpier and larger objects. We're talking very complicated science. It's a caricature to analogize this with a tornado. And I urge you to learn more about the science behind how the Earth got here. And we know quite a bit about it. And so I really urge you to learn about that. You don't make any sense. Of course I wouldn't make sense. If I was a first grader and I stumbled into a calculus college course, it wouldn't make any sense to me. But if I took the time to go through how the mathematics worked and learned gradually, it would make sense to me. And so that's how science and learning and all learning works. You have to immerse yourself with what is around you. Investigate the world. Learn about it. There's lots to learn. And if you're going to sit there as a Christian and go, it's all nonsense, it's too complicated, how do we get here? If you're going to do that, then you're going to say God did it. You're just missing out on all that rich beauty that the universe has to offer you. It's easy to say God did it, God. But often, what's easy is not always the best. Sometimes it might be hard, but going through that challenge of learning all this is actually better for you. But I understand everybody wants quick answers. God did it. It's a quick answer, but you're missing out. The penalty of that is missing out on all the facts about the world, not understanding it clearly. That's what you miss out on when you say God. I don't know why nobody's coming up. I'm trying to bring people up, but they're not going. What's the point of life? Well, you're asking me in contrast, if there's no God, what's the point of life, right? Because you're contrasting this with, well, if there's no God, there's no meaning, but if there is a God, we have all the meaning. My meaning is attached to God. And so when you look at an atheist, you go, well, how do you have meaning? Well, you get it first by detaching from the idea that you need God to have meaning. You don't. I can find meaning in people, friends, family, nature, animals, learning. All kinds of things can give me meaning. And so life has lots of meaning when you detach from this religious paradigm. You're too attached to it. If we actually ask you, well, what's the purpose of God? It's like, why does God exist? What's God's purpose or meaning? Oh, to worship. Our purpose is to worship God. To me, that's a very dreadful purpose. Our only purpose is to just sit there and worship God forever. Yes, God, you're the best. You're the best. I think that's pretty pathetic. We're born to die. It's pointless. No meaning. Just sucks. That's not true, guys. Look, this is a very important thing to talk about because a lot of people don't have proper guidance here. Most other atheists online never talk about this, right? It's always the come on up theist. But we never offer anything to the theist, another perspective. And it's very easy to get into this kind of cosmic nihilism where the more you learn about the world, everything becomes more scary. Everything becomes scarier, you know? Or when you learn how we're small, because when you learn that we're small versus the rest of the world, everything feels like, what's the point? You know? And I think that from my perspective, I have plenty of meaning in my life. I have plenty of reason to live and plenty of purpose and plenty of motivation. Because I have accepted that my fate may be just I die and nothing happens. That's it. I accepted that a long time ago. I've come to grips with it, that if I die, maybe nothing will happen. And I'm okay with that. It's okay. It's okay. And then I went, okay, that's okay. But look at what we have. Family. I love my family. I love my friends. I love the world. I love nature. I love being outside and looking at the beautiful blue sky and the sun and the birds. I just enjoy existing. It's incredible. And the more I learn about the world, the more I learn about consciousness and how the brain works and how we work, it just even makes it more amazing. Because look at what we are. We are these beings who happen to coalesce over billions of years, a kind of evolution that somehow the fragments of the universe came together and became aware of itself. So in a way, I am connected to the stars. I'm connected to the universe in a very deep, profound way. I'm part of it. I'm part of it, experiencing, being alive. I'm connected to you biologically. Our genetics are very related. We're all apes, and we all share common descent, common ancestry. I'm related to the earth, chemically, right? I'm made of water, I'm made of carbon and nitrogen and hydrogen. I'm connected to the universe. And so I don't feel that small, I feel big. I feel like, and that from this perspective, I feel like incredible to be alive. Amazing to be here. It's amazing to be here. And so, yeah, I find purpose in living, and I enjoy every day I get because I'm confronted with its finitude, right? I'm confronted with how short life is every day, and that's why I live my life to the fullest. I don't focus on the afterlife. I focus on the now life. I make this the best I can because it's all we got. It's the only life we have, as far as I can see. Your family is the only one you'll have. And when you really come to grips with this, you begin to realize and appreciate how incredible it is that we are here. It really is amazing. Not because God did it, but because we just happen to be here. A cosmic coincidence, a cosmic chance that we happen to be here. Everything becomes more precious. If we live forever, just get another family, you just get another life. You just keep going, it doesn't stop. But if the fact that it's finite makes it rare and fragile, that makes it all that more precious. And so, yeah, I focus on living my life now, making the best I can, and helping as many people as I can. That's what makes me happy. That's what gives me purpose, and that's why I'm here. And doing that without there having to be a God for me to do that is powerful. I'm no longer attached or tethered to this religious paradigm where I'm only doing good things because I want to appease God and go to heaven. I'm only looking to get a reward at the end. I'm not doing things for that. I'm not oriented towards that perspective. I'm doing things because I genuinely want to help and do good and be good. That is powerful. I have a better, more clear, a keener sense of why I'm here versus even a theist. From my perspective, I have a keener sense of my purpose than even a theist who believes in God. Because it's so raw and real and authentic. I'm being the authentic me. Whereas, or at least I'm being as close to the authentic me as I can be. Whereas a theist really is doing things because they believe that God is watching and they have to make him happy and they have to worship it. See the difference? Fundamentally, I think that an atheistic perspective is even far more powerful. So, yeah, that's my perspective. It's deep. We have to go to these deep places, you know? We have to, at sometimes, but not all the time. And the guys, if you think about this too much, you're going to go crazy. It's not worth it. There's only so many things we can understand about the universe. We have to just admit, we don't know. We'll never know. And that's okay. If you get stuck in these philosophical, existential questions for too long, it's not very good for you. There's only so much that a human being can take. So many questions we can have before we go crazy. You just have to just be okay with being alive, and that's it. Just enjoy your life. Be alive. Live in the moment. That's ultimately the purpose of life. To live in the moment. Be you. Be alive. Enjoy. Have fun. Love. That's it. So yeah, this is, I think it's important to talk about this because a lot of atheists never do. And they never really share their perspective. It's always the atheist prying open the theist when I think it should be the atheist sometimes sprinkling information onto the Christian or theist. So, you haven't proved anything. Well, I'm not here to prove anything. I'm here to give you, or I'm here to be a catalyst for your inquiry and your learning. I'm not here to prove anything. I'm here to make you think a little bit, challenge you. Here, look. This is one of my favorite pictures ever taken. If you can see that little dot right there. See that dot? That's the Earth. That's our planet. So, so, well, this is significant because look at this perspective that this. Look at the perspective that this is. Often we live on this planet where we think we are the center of everything. We think so highly of ourselves. We think we're the most important thing in the universe, that God designed the universe for us. God finely tuned the universe. But from this perspective, 4 billion miles away from the Earth, taken by Voyager spacecraft in 1990, it doesn't seem like the universe was made for that dot, does it? The dot looks very insignificant, very obscure, very like it's like not there. Like it's not that important. It's not the main character, is it? We tell ourselves we're the center, but we really aren't. And so that's why this picture is important. It's a contrasting perspective, a cosmic perspective that challenges the egotistical view of humans and our place in the universe. And one of my heroes, Carl Sagan, said some words about this. Said some words about this that I want to share with you guys here. This is Carl Sagan's Pale Blue Dot. If you look at the Earth from space, you see a dot. That's here. That's home. That's us. On it, everyone you love, everyone you know, everyone you've ever heard of, every human being who ever was, lived out their lives. The aggregate of our joy and suffering, thousands of confident religions, ideologies, economic doctrines, every hunter and forger, every hero and coward, every creator and destroyer of civilization, every king and peasant, every young couple in love, every mother and father, every hopeful child, inventor and explorer, every teacher of morals, every corrupt politician, every superstar, every supreme leader, every saint and sinner in the history of our species lived there on a mote of dust suspended in a sunbeam. The Earth is a very small stage in a vast cosmic arena. Think of the rivers of blood spilled by all those generals and emperors so that in glory and triumph they could become the momentary masters of a fraction of a dot. Think of the endless cruelties visited by the inhabitants of one corner of this pixel on the scarcely distinguishable inhabitants of some other corner. How frequent their misunderstandings. How eager they are to kill one another. How fervent their hatreds. Our posturings, our imagined self-importance, the delusion that we have some privileged position in the universe are challenged by this point of pale light. Our planet is a lonely speck in the great enveloping cosmic dark. In our obscurity, in all this vastness, there's no hint that help will come from elsewhere to save us from ourselves. It's up to us.
It's been said that astronomy is a humbling and character-building experience. There is perhaps no better demonstration of the folly of human conceits than this distant image of our tiny world. To me, it underscores our responsibility to deal more kindly with one another and to preserve and cherish the Pale Blue Dot, the only home we've ever known. Yeah. So, yeah, we're small compared to the universe. But that planet is all we know. It's all we got. Each other. That's what makes our world big. Each other. People. Nature. So, yeah, this perspective really challenges the, oh God, don't worry, you're important because God made you, right? that's so comparatively, that's very superficial compared to this perspective. Very deep, very authentic, very raw. And this comes with humility. The humility to accept that, yeah, we are just a planet. We are just a bunch of apes on a rock in the middle of nowhere. You have to have the humility to accept that. But once you do, and you detach from the idea that God must have made us, just let it go. And you really start to understand how important and how precious life is. You know? So that's my perspective. This is my perspective on the world. And so when you say, well, how do atheists have purpose? This way. This is how I understand my sense of purpose on this planet. And it drives me and motivates me to do better and to be good and to do good. And so, no, you don't need a God to be a good person or to have purpose. And I wonder if more people understood this perspective, I wonder if we'd have as much hate and violence in this world. I really do. You know, I think all of us need a taste of this cosmic perspective. Yeah, people get angry when they hear there's no God. Absolutely. And that's okay. I got angry when I used to be Christian too. I understand your perspective. And that's a natural perspective. And the reason why you're angry is because you take it personally, right? You have essentially taken your religion as part of your own identity. And you become attached. And so you think every attempt at trying to challenge you about your religion is a personal attack, when it's not. It's just a question. It's not personal. So I think this is one of the problems with believing in God. You become too attached to this ideology. And the penalty of that is being angry and grumpy when people try to question you, and it prohibits you from seeing things from other perspectives. That's the penalty of believing in God. One of the penalties. There are many others, but yeah, this is my view. So, a lot of people aren't ready for this yet. A lot of people out there are just not ready for this, dude. But I hope one day everybody understands this. I really do. I really wonder what the world would be like if everybody understood this perspective. Yeah, the fear of getting out. Yeah, the people fear going to hell as well. Yes, that also keeps you sucked into the religious paradigm. Absolutely, and that the fear of hell took me years to get over. It's very, very deep. The fear is very deep, and all this takes time to deconstruct from. It takes time, it takes learning, it takes many questions, it takes many different things to think about. And so it's no wonder why most people are still not atheists. It's no wonder why 90% of people still believe in God, because 90% of people haven't gone this deep. They haven't really gone this deep. They haven't deconstructed for many reasons. Society kind of delays any of this. It prevents, delays, or blocks people from seeing different perspectives. You know, if you live in the rural South of America, you live in a church town where there's every corner there's a church. Well, of course it's going to be harder and more difficult for you to see this perspective, because you're not exposed to it. And so, yeah, there's many different forcings keeping people stuck in these religious paradigms, unable to see this perspective. But that's why I'm here, because hopefully people can see and listen and think about this themselves. So, I'm not trying to convince you there's no God. I'm just trying to show you another perspective, right? I'm not here to say God cannot be real. It's impossible, and you can't be good or happy as a theist. I'm not here to say that. I'm here to simply say, hey, here's another perspective. Here's my perspective on the world. That's all. I'm not a debate bro. I don't debate just to debate. I debate to help other people see things from a different perspective. I know I can't reach out to every person. I know I can't. Probably a large swath of people listening to this is probably go, oh, this stupid idiot again. Swipe, right? I can't. But maybe somebody out there will listen and go, let me investigate this. Let me learn. That's all I want. I just want people to learn more, understand the world. I'm bored. And another thing preventing people from seeing this perspective is that it's just too emotionally intense. It's too emotionally burdening to accept that we are just apes on a rock. I think, and in this vast world, I think it's very emotionally burdening. People think that if they know too much, they're going to go crazy. And that's true. That's true to a degree. But you could control that. You can have a balance between knowledge and living. Right? I'm not saying no. If you learn too much, you will go crazy. If you pry too deeply into the universe and learn about too many things and question too many things and you take it very, very seriously, you will go crazy. But if you just, at the end of the day, live your life and just be human, you'll be fine. Right? So you can be smart, you can be knowledgeable, you can learn and still just be human. You don't have to be just a machine. Right? So that's why I often don't go into this deep philosophy. I think that's just ridiculous. No human being was meant to just be a complete philosopher, just a robot regurgitating philosophical ideas or contemplating them constantly. That's not, no human being was meant for that. We're meant to just be human and live, right? And so getting too deep in these things is not healthy. It does, we can't, there's only so much that philosophy and science can do. Right? We can't know everything about everything. And so we just have to accept there are limits and be okay with that and live our lives. So that's it. Wouldn't that mean that we never wrestle with these questions fully? Well, yeah, there's part of, we want to see, what makes us comfortable is having knowledge about something. Complete knowledge, right? That's why God is so appealing, because you feel as if you have that complete knowledge about the world. Yeah, how did all this get here? God, right? Where to get morality? God. Why are we here? God. What's our purpose? God. What? It gives you the sense that you have all the answers. And when that is challenged, they get it uncomfortable. Well, I don't have all the answers. That makes us feel jittery. I don't have all the answers. But you have to have the courage to accept that, right? You have to have the courage to accept you'll never have all the answers. So, yeah. Yes, you're right. Some things we'll never know. It's not worth wrestling with. It's not worth trying to continue questioning. At some point, you got to stop, because it's just, we can't pry deeper. We don't have that ability to do that. Maybe our descendants, maybe in the future, robots and machines will do that. But humans, we cannot do that. Our brains did not evolve, right? Our brains are barely getting by today with the internet, social media. I mean, we're seeing harm by people being on social media. It's doom scrolling. It's destroying our mentalities. It's already sucking away our empathy and sucking away our attention spans. And so too much information, an overload of information, is not healthy. You have to have a balance. You have to have a balance. Know your limit. Stop at a certain point and live. That's the point. So the point is that I don't get stuck in these existential questions. Sometimes, but I know my limit. I know when to stop and go, Mike, it's all made up, right? Why are we here? The universe is so big. I rarely go through that. Years ago, yeah, when I first became an atheist, but now I never do that. I just live my life, because I can't question that. It doesn't make sense to question that. Just live, keep going. Right? This is important to talk about. A lot of atheists don't say anything about this. Maybe they don't know how to articulate it. Maybe they don't want to. They're scared to. But I don't hear any other atheist really saying this. But yeah, we ought to help people deconstruct from religion. We ought to help them in their journey away from religion. and we ought to facilitate this on a larger level in society. So any other questions before I go? The universe is too big and vast for us to comprehend. We got to accept it. Bingo. Exactly. The universe is just too big for us to sit there and get stuck in these big, deep questions. It's too big. It's too much. No human being can handle this. We did not we did not evolve for this kind of thinking. Predictions for GTA 6 Trailer 3. I cannot wait to play that game. And we're 4 months away? 5 months away? I cannot wait for that game. But GTA 6 Trailer 3, I think we'll see that within a couple weeks. And I think we're going to see hopefully some gameplay. But I'm very excited. It's going to be delayed, yeah, probably. 2027. Yes, what about consciousness? This is another area where I think pondering about this is just a waste of time. What is consciousness? Look, I think consciousness is just a physical thing in the brain. I think that's all it is. You can inquire further, you can get all philosophical on this, but it's another area where we just don't know enough to really question any further than that. To me, it's just a waste of time to talk about consciousness in that way, to ponder about that. It's interesting, but we just don't have the ability to experiment any further than what we have. Yeah, I think consciousness is physical, just a physical process, and it stops when you die, and that's it. Just like life, right? Centuries, 1,000 years ago, people didn't know what life was, and so they thought it was spirit. There was a spirit behind life, making us animated, right? Now we know it's actually not a soul or a spirit. It's actually just millions, trillions of tiny chemical interactions happening in our bodies on a molecular level. Metabolizing, replicating, right? This is constantly happening in our bodies, and that's what makes you alive. It's that process. It's a process. It's a chemical process. I think the same applies to consciousness. I think consciousness is itself the process of the bioelectricity in the brain. That's it. We are the ones. That's all it is, in my eyes. Just a process. And sure, there may be something deeper here that we're missing. Clearly, that may be the case. But I think, to me, that's just a waste of time to think any more about that question, because we can't learn any more about this unless we just sit there in a chair all day and think about this. But it makes no sense to do that. Okay. Molecules live forever. Well, the molecules in your body are borrowed, right? The molecules in your body are not always there. You consume molecules from food and water that gets turned into life in your body, and then you expel it. And so you're constantly recycling molecules from the earth. And so it's not the molecule that makes you alive. It's the process by which these molecules operate. So there's nothing in the molecule that makes you alive. There's nothing in the molecule that is encoded with your life, right? Even DNA is not. DNA is a very large molecule, but even that is not alive. It's just a molecule. What makes you alive is the process by which these molecules operate and behave. And I think that's what's happening with consciousness. Back in the day, nobody understood what the brain was. Yeah, I think when we learn about the brain neuroscientifically, I think we are finding more and more consistency in this sense that it's just, yeah, consciousness is just what's happening in the brain. I think the scientific evidence is completely consistent with that. And so I don't see any reason to deviate from that as far as I can see. Although, again, this is another domain where theists love to go, ooh, well, what's consciousness come from? They love to argue from ignorance. Well, we don't know what consciousness is, therefore God must be the one behind it, or spirit. But, you know, to me, it's just a waste of time to do that. History's always the same. Yeah, exactly. History always repeats itself. I mean, you know, people thought there was a soul. That's not true. And we know it's just a process. Now people go, oh, there must be something magical about the brain. I think in 100 years from now, we'll go, ha, that was silly. No, consciousness is just a physical thing. It's complicated. It is very complicated. We don't know all the answers about it, but that doesn't make it magic. Another place where humans want to go, oh, we want to know so badly. We want to know so bad that we compromise by attaching to a spiritual belief. You know, but we can't let our wants determine our beliefs. How about the people who had spiritual encounters? Are we just going to dismiss them? Just asking. Well, I definitely don't just dismiss them. No, not at all. I do not think we should just dismiss people if they say, I saw something or I saw a ghost. No, of course not. I think we should do the opposite. I think we should inquire about these things. I think we should very deeply investigate these things. But when we do, I think we find that most of these things are just sleep paralysis or hallucinations or dreams or false memories. People don't realize how susceptible the brain is to these false recollections. Your brain is constantly creating memories that are not true. And so you might have that conviction that you saw something, but you really didn't. And so we have to be cautious not to just believe on people's word, but learn the fuller context and skeptically and rigorously and scientifically investigate these things. And as far as I'm concerned, as far as I have seen or any science has seen, there's no evidence that there are spirits roaming around. But again, I'm open to it. I'm very open to there being these spirits or ghosts, whatever that means. I'm just not convinced. My standards of evidence are quite high, which they need to be that high in order to function, or else you just believe in everything that comes your way. Oh yeah, Bigfoot. Yeah, okay, Loch Ness Monster. Yeah, your standards of evidence have to be high if you really want to learn about the world. And so, let's show me the spirit, show me the alien, show me the spirit. Let's see it. I'm open to it, but don't just tell me that you saw a ghost and then expect me to believe you. Right? Okay. Do you think the whole Bible is folktale? No, not at all. The Bible is a very interesting book. A very interesting book. It's full of poetry. It's full of art. It's full of incredible music and things like that. But it's not something, a lot of it is folklore. A lot of it is not true. Some of it is true, but it is consistent with a book that was passed down for centuries, in which it plagiarized from other cultures. The story of Genesis was largely plagiarized from the Epic of Gilgamesh and all those other. It's clear and obvious that people back then took these origin stories and over time altered them and tweaked them in certain ways to make them more personal for them. And then they added in some laws so that they could instill these laws on people, right? And so the Bible, Christianity, these doctrines, they enable this kind of societal infrastructure that makes society happen. And there's no question that Christianity was important for the origin of many societies. But we no longer need that. I think we've outgrown these religions, and I think that they are no longer conducive to prosperity. I think it's about time we shed away these religious paradigms. But it's going to take a lot. It's going to take a lot more than what we're doing. You know, atheists are not doing a good job. As an atheist, atheists are not doing well. We're not doing it. We're not working properly to help others. We're not. All right. I'm going to go to bed now. Explain quantum physics. I can't explain quantum physics to you. I'm not a teacher, I'm not a physicist, but go learn. There's plenty out there to learn about. The universe is full of mysteries and full of facts. Explain science. Okay. To me, science is a kind of pleasure. Because I love learning. I think most people enjoy learning. And science is a way in which you can have a framework for learning that constantly aids your ability to learn more and extract more from the world. So science is incredibly powerful. I think we ought to do a better job at instilling scientific disciplining in people. When are you on the AXP line again? I don't know. When they want me back, I'll go. But nah, I'm not. A lot of I don't want to talk negatively about other programs, but a lot of these other atheists are really just performative debate bros. They're not really looking to help other people, and it's a shame. We don't really have we really don't have role models anymore. It's a shame, but we don't really have any good role models who are atheists anymore. you know, yeah, maybe Neil deGrasse Tyson, but I think yeah, it seems like we've embraced individualism. You know, back in the 1990s, there was a kind of collective culture where people would collectively be on the same page about something in the media or in the news or whatever. Today we don't have that anymore. Everybody has their own. Oh, everybody's in their own outlets, and everybody's on their own terms now, and so it's much harder for that to happen. And so it's harder for somebody to break through the noise. It's just so much noise. And so this is why we have to be extra noisy. It's a different world now compared to 1920. Yeah, absolutely. The world is always changing and evolving, and that's good. That's another reason why science, a scientific perspective, is important, because it helps you adapt to the changing world. See, a lot of Christians are stuck in time. They're stuck to traditionalist ways of living, and they're stuck to there's only two genders, right? X or Y chromosomes. They're not equipped for the changing environment, the changing society. They're not equipped for that, and so they're going to be even more lost. They're already lost now, but they're going to be further back because they haven't been properly guided towards science literacy. So we need fundamental changes in the educational system. Why can't you just respect people's beliefs? I'm not. Look, I'm not saying you have to believe what I believe. I'm just showing you another perspective. You can swipe away. You don't have to be here, right? But clearly you're here for a reason. You're curious. You're curious. You want to know what this is all about. Good. There's nothing wrong with challenging other people's ideas, right? See, the difference between me and you is that I'm open to you challenging any of my views. I embrace it. I encourage you to challenge me. But to a religious person, that's often the opposite. Often they're very scared. They're very hesitant. They're very reluctant to want to have their beliefs challenged, because they take it too personally. They're too attached to their belief. That's why they get very defensive and combative when you try to challenge their view. To me, I'm opposite. To me, I love when I'm challenged. I love a good question. I love to be pride. I love to have my views and beliefs pride. But another benefit of my perspective, I'm open to other ideas. I'm open to being wrong. I'm okay with being wrong. I've been wrong many times, and I learn every time from it. But to a Christian, if they're wrong, if a Christian is wrong, that's like the world ends for them. The whole world ends for them, because they take it so personally. They take it so seriously, their belief in God. And so it's the whole world for them. And if they're wrong, everything falls apart. But that can't happen to me, because I'm not attached to, I don't have any kind of fundamental belief. You can't do that to me. It's not possible. Because I'm not attached to anything. I'm fluid. I'm not attached like a rock or like a chain to this belief, to any belief. If you get upset about being wrong, you won't learn as much from it. Yeah, again, another place where the ego gets in the way. We don't want to be wrong. We want to be the important. We want to be you always want to be right. Everybody wants to be right. Nobody likes to be wrong. But if you notice, we live in a culture where it's a shame. You're shamed to be wrong. You're punished for being wrong, right? You go to school, you get a wrong answer. F, right? You're scared of failing a course. You're scared of making your parents upset. You're scared of not getting a good job. It's ingrained in us that if you're wrong, you're bad. And so we get very scared of being wrong. But that's not how it should be. Being wrong is good. It's good to be wrong. You should be proud of being wrong because it means you're learning something. You're open to learning something. There's a fact in the world that you can learn from. There's knowledge to be gained, and so being wrong is good. And but instead, we live in a reverse society. A society where any error is seen as uber detrimental to your life. And that is why people grow up arrogantly clinging on to their belief system, never challenging it because they're in the back of their brain, they're going, I don't want to be wrong. So let me cling on to this. Let me go on to my church group. Let me go into these Discord, these online spaces where everybody else affirms my belief. I don't want to be wrong. So let me just reaffirm my belief. No, we should be always open to challenges. Always open to challenges. And I know it's uncomfortable. The world is uncomfortable. We live in a fucking rock in space. The whole world is uncomfortable. You just have to accept it. Become comfortable with the uncomfortable. That's the only way you're going to make it. It's the only way you're going to live your life to the fullest. Some religious people feel mad all the time because a lot of strict rules are in it. Oh yeah. There's definitely there's a lot of negatives for being religious. There's some positives, but there's lots of negatives about religion. It keeps you stuck in these holes where you feel like you can't get out, but you're stuck in there because you don't want to upset your priest or your family or your friends. It's sad. It really is sad. The dogma, the indoctrination, the trauma. But yeah. That's why I do this, because I really am aware of the religious trauma that people deal with all around the world, especially in the Middle East, especially in the Islamic countries. Oh my gosh. But obviously here in America too, and we have plenty of it too. So yeah, religion can be cancerous. But don't get me wrong, I'm not here to say all religion's bad. No. There's some good about religion. It keeps a community together. It helps people feel better about themselves and others. It keeps them connected. But a lot of these religions are unhealthy. and that's why I stay away from them, and that's why I don't think that they should be challenged. So imagine your friends know you're atheist. Yeah, even today in my life, there's this taboo about being atheist, right? You know, it's taboo to talk about religion. Still, in 2026, it's still a bit taboo to talk about this. It's still seen as weird, or don't go there, right? Don't talk about that. That's got to change. I think we should be much more open. I think we should not be scared of asking, what's your religion? Why do you believe? The fact that we still view it as a sacred thing is such a shame. I don't know why it's interesting to talk about. Well, for a lot of people, it's not, because they don't want to be challenged. Again, they don't want to be wrong, so they get afraid of these spaces where they're challenged, right? They don't want to be wrong. You know, they don't want to learn. It's not that they don't want to learn. It's that they don't want to be put in a position where they have to be challenged and have to go learn more. You know, people want simple answers: God, Jesus, Buddha. You know, but that's why we have to slowly, gradually challenge people and make these kind of talks commonplace. I think the world would be so much better if we did that. So we have so much progress to make. Could you imagine a world where every person was scientifically literate? I'm not saying everybody has to be atheist. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying, imagine if every person was open to being challenged about their beliefs. Imagine if every person was open to evidence and understood what the evidence means, and understood what research means, and understood how to research, and understood how to think scientifically. Imagine that. I don't think we'd be seeing as much hatred and fighting and violence. I think we'd see way less of that. You know. That's why education. That's why education is important. But even education doesn't necessarily, at least in the current context, it's not teaching people this. It's not really ingraining this in people. It's kids, especially kids today. They come in and out of the educational system, and they know nothing about science. They don't retain anything. Their attention spans are like goldfish. There's a problem here. I don't want to get into this, but the educational system today is just poor. It's just bad for a myriad of reasons. And we need fundamental change. And this is one of the places where I really hope AI can help tutor people and teach people. But I don't know, man. I don't know what the future holds. I don't know. I'm optimistic, but still, I'm worried. What is your take on AI with the medical outbreaks? I'm very excited to see how AI can help cure diseases, because people don't realize this, but AI is good at pattern recognition. It's good at modeling and simulating. And so we can imagine in the near future being able to simulate the whole human body and being able to test drugs or test vaccines or test things without any trials, without any actual real trials, just a computer simulation that, again, with more powerful computers, are happening at within, like, for example, today it might take years for medicine to go through trials to FDA approval. Perhaps within 10, 15 years from now, you can have a medicine go from, being conjured up or thought of to it being produced and made available within weeks or months, right? When today it takes years, sometimes even decades. So I'm very excited to see how we expedite the process of discovery in medicine, as well as physics and all other domains of science. I mean, AI is so powerful; it can help in so many things. Biotechnology, battery technology. There's so much potential with AI. And so yeah, that's it's one of the things I'm very excited to see happen. Cures to cancers, absolutely. Well, not technically, there's no cure to cancer. Cancer is inevitable; it happens all the time. But there are ways to, for example, if you could get a vaccine and you can have certain proteins or whatever attack cancer cells, right? Find, locate, and attack cancer cells. Well, there you go. You just prevented cancer from becoming dangerous. And so, yeah, I think we will have cancer vaccines within the next coming years for many of these cancers. I mean, they're already working on a pancreatic cancer vaccine. And so, yeah, I think within 10, 15 years, a lot of the diseases we have today will be rendered survivable. Right? A lot of the most deadliest diseases today will be 15 years from now rendered survivable. It's fantastic. Yeah, cures to paralysis. I mean, don't get me started with BCIs. I think that within 15 years, we will have AI integrated into the brain, right? A full brain computer interface. So you can have not even a chip, right? It's not really necessarily a chip. It's just nanobots that you inject into the brain, and they grow around the parts of the brain. And so you have a kind of connection to the internet, as if you're thinking of it, right? As if, in other words, you'll have information projected through the brain, so that you won't need to touch a screen. The screen will be in your brain. You'll be able to blink and see a screen in front of you, and that's coming directly from your brain, because your brain is what generates visuals. So yeah, in the future we'll have, we'll merge with AI in that way. And so AI, all the information you have online will actually be implanted into your brain. And so every person will have all the information. It's like the Matrix. You'll have all information in your brain. And that knowledge that you think about will be like you thinking about a thought right now. So instead of having to search online, you just think about it, right? It's like having ChatGPT, but in your brain. That's plausible within 15 years, right? So imagine if every person had the intelligence of Albert Einstein in their head. That's something that can happen, guys. That's the power of AI. That's the power of artificial intelligence. And so that's why I'm very pro AI, because it can unlock lots of potential if we use it correctly. Right? Robots will alter the economy. You know, right now, 100% of all, 99% of all jobs being done are done by robots. All tasks and jobs are done by robots, humans. So we are the main producers, but within 15 years, that will be reversed. Most tasks and jobs will be done by robots, not humans. And so how do we... That will change the economy forever. It'll change how we see money, work, careers, jobs. There's a lot. We have a lot ahead of us. We have a lot ahead of us, guys. The future is going to be crazy. Coal mining, that's not how you spell coal, but yeah, we understand. Yeah, no, robots are going to be doing all the most dangerous jobs. Yeah, first, yeah, absolutely. All the most dangerous jobs will be done by robots, for sure. But even within 15 years from now, even like somebody being a lawyer or a carpenter or plumber, that's all going to be also be done by robots. Mechanic. Within 15 years, you're not going to have no person's going to do mechanic work. It's going to be it's going to be a robot. You know, people are not ready for the amount of change we're going to see in 15, 20 years. People are not ready for it. You think the world is changing fast now? Dude, 20 years from now, the world's going to become so fucking different. You're not going to know. You're not going to be like, what? So we have to be prepared for this change. We're not right now. People are not prepared. Do you think universal income will be introduced? It's gonna have to be, yeah, and we're gonna be able to afford it, right? The goal is to have the economy grow so large. We're talking 10, 20 times larger than it is today. And with that, we will definitely be able to afford universal income. And not just like, $100. No, we're talking a full-time income. $4, $5, $6, maybe even $10,000 a month for every person. Imagine every month getting $10,000 for free, right? No taxes. That's possible. That's possible if we utilize AI and robots correctly. No, this is not communism. Communism is when the state controls, or the people control the means of production. But that's not what we're talking about. We're talking about capitalism still, where it's still private companies. It's just a dividend what the people are given, right? It's like, for example, in Alaska, they have this kind of public fund where oil companies, or the state owns the oil that's extracted, and then with the profits the state gets, they send it back to people. So every year, Alaskans get like a few $100s from the state, free money. That's what we could potentially do for all people with AI and robots doing all the work, right? Because look, that's all an economy is. All an economy is people producing things and selling things and people buying things. That's all it is. So if you have robots do all the production, well, all that profit, they don't need the profit, right? A lot of the profit can just go back to the people, right? So, yeah, it's very plausible that this happens. I mean, if everything goes well. I mean, there are lots of things could go wrong in between this, right? There's all kinds of political roadblocks, uh, standing in a way. But again, if we want the best outcome to happen, we have to work together. We have to understand this. A lot of people still don't understand AI. They think it's just a fad. They don't understand the real applications. They don't understand the full potential. So, humans don't get paid. No, we will get paid. Look, the point is, for example, right now you go to your work, right? Let's say you make $50,000 a year. Well, why do you make that much money? Because the company you work for pays you that much money because you're producing things, right? You're doing labor, you're doing work. Then you take that money and you spend it on food, rent, whatever. But now let's say we replaced you and put a robot there doing the same production. Well, that robot, that company would pay the robot, let's say $50,000. But the robot doesn't need the fucking money, right? The robot doesn't need the money. So that money that the robot produces can just go to you for free, right? That's it. That's all you're doing. You're just taking the profits that the robot's making and just giving it to people. That's it, right? And so we can imagine if robots and AI are doing 10 times the work that we're doing today, right? If they're 10 times more productive, well, they're making 10 times more money because they're selling 10 times more things, right? They're producing 10 times more. That means that people are going to be buying 10 times more things. And so you'll generate enough profit so that you can pool it up in a fund where it gets distributed back to people in a kind of dividend. 5, 10,000, perhaps even 20,000, perhaps eventually the economy is so big, let's say 100 years from now, that everybody gets like millions of dollars every month, just millions of dollars and millions of dollars. Money becomes irrelevant at that point, right? Money becomes just a stupid number. That's possible, guys. Within a century, it's possible that money dissipates. Money becomes nothing, just a number. And the people 100 years from now will look back on this time and go, they were slaves. They will call us slaves. They will see us as the slave era of the industrial slaves. They worked 9 to 5 for that little salary. That was slave work. See, I'm not saying this is going to happen for sure. I'm just saying that this is possible. This is what AI and technology and science can allow. So. I think people are tired of working 9 to 5. I think people are tired of the system. Yeah, I think we're all tired of the system. I think we're tired of, being part of the system. Yeah, it doesn't mean that we won't work anymore. It just means that we'll be freer to do what we want. We'll be able to, do what you want to do. If you don't want to work, work will become optional in the future, right? You don't have to work. You can do whatever you want. Isn't that great? Isn't that the future you want to live in? That's the future I want to live in. That's my vision. My vision is to one day not have to work. Just do whatever you want. Be creative. Do whatever you want. You can be creative. You can create things. You can build something. You can do anything. If you want to invent something, you can invent it. If you want to build something, you can build it. If you want to, you know, 100 years ago, this is the last thing I'll leave on. I really got to go. But 100 years ago, if you would have told the average job 100 years ago was being a farmer, right? If you would have told somebody, if you would have told that same farmer 100 years ago, one day in 2025 and 2026, people will be using their phones to video themselves and make hundreds of thousands of dollars a year, their minds would have exploded. They would have, what? That's just fun. That's entertainment. Just you're making a video of yourself and you're getting a mansion? Well, now that's real. That really happens. A lot of people out there are influencers. They're making millions of dollars a year by taking videos of themselves. And so imagine if in the future everybody has that opportunity to do whatever they want and still make all the money they need. Yeah, being an influencer is a job, right? It's work, whatever, a career, whatever. But the point is that that's how the idea of a job has shifted in the past 100 years. You know, back then being a farmer was a great job. It was considered a good job to be a farmer or a miner, right? Now those are considered dirty jobs, like too much labor, right? Too labor intensive. So perhaps in 100 years from now, to look back at a lawyer or a doctor and they go, that was labor intensive. So, all right, guys.